who says he heard her before he saw her.
She began to scream to me from the tree in front of our house.
And Senator Ted Cruz at a briefing last hour.
For the last several days, I've spoken to multiple parents, scared out of their mind, and the pain and agony of not knowing your child's whereabouts. It's the worst thing imaginable.
Kerr County Sheriff Larry Letha telling us,
at present, there are 10 campers from Camp Mystic unaccounted for and 1 counselor.
President Trump saying he plans to visit Texas later this week. All right, your weather for today here in metro Atlanta, partly cloudy and hot. Afternoon highs around 94. Any relief from the heat this week? Well, WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards will have the answer when she has Atlanta Radio's only 5-day forecast that comes your way at 12:05. We are still in Texas this noon. Update on a man who has been killed after opening fire this morning at a U.S. Border Patrol facility in McAllen, Texas. Authorities are now identifying that shooter as 27-year-old Ryan Louise Maceda. They say that he had an assault rifle and was carrying a utility vest. One officer was injured in this shooting after being hit in the knee. No word on a motive. The investigation is underway. This is new here at noon. A mistrial has been declared for one of the defendants facing charges in a racketeering case which was tied to protest about the Atlanta Public Safety Training Center. Ayla King accused of trespassing on the property back in March of 2024. While King was granted a request for a speedy trial, which was scheduled to start today, Judge Kevin Farmer has informed the jury of the mistrial. A new trial will be set for King with a new jury pool. Duluth police are warning residents about a rise in stolen checks from the mail. Investigators say those checks are being altered or washed and then cashed, which is costing victims thousands of dollars. Police say whenever possible, you want to avoid mailing checks and use online options instead. If you notice suspicious activities, you are urged to report it to your bank. Voters here in Georgia heading to the polls today. Early voting underway for a runoff election that could impact your utility bill.
2 candidates running as Democrats for District 3 of the Georgia Public Service Commission face off in a primary runoff after neither secured the necessary majority vote needed in last month's primary. Peter Hubbard and Keisha Waits are both vying for the seat, which is elected by voters statewide. The winner will face incumbent Republican Commissioner Fitz Johnson in November. Election day for the runoff is next Tuesday, but early voting continues through the end of this week. The PSC oversees rate increases and other proposals from Georgia utility companies, among other responsibilities. Austin Eller, 95.5 WSB.
Austell holding a public hearing this afternoon at 5 on plans for a significant property tax increase there.
It's a proposed 158% tax hike, which would amount to about $595 for a home with a fair market value of $299,000. Austell Mayor Ollie Clemens says in a letter to residents that the increase is necessary, and it wasn't a decision made lightly. Clemens says the city weighed every option and considered the impact to every household, but he says they can't build a better Austell on hope and patchwork solutions. Jennifer Perry, 95.5 WSB.
If you're headed to downtown Woodstock for some lunch, you might have to pay for parking. Kyle Bennett with Woodstock's downtown development team says paid parking has been a long time coming.
So our merchants have really been talking with the city for a while. I'd say the past decade about figuring out ways to better manage parking in downtown Woodstock. So we've had several parking studies done to study the issue.
And he says signs are in place to show you where the paid parking is located. The first hour is free. Then the next 2 hours, you'll be charged $2 an hour. The paid parking program operating daily from 10 a.m. until 8 p.m. And 2 school resource officers from Barrow County's Appalachia High School are being honored at today's National Association of School Resource Officers Conference. It's being held in Texas. Deputies Chase Boyd and Brandon King are credited with confronting the suspect in last fall's attack. The organization saying, although the loss of life at Appalachia High is an absolute tragedy, these deputies ran toward danger and saved countless lives. They're receiving the National Award of Valor at today's ceremonies. Let's take a look at the markets. The Dow right now is down 320 at 44,508. NASDAQ is currently down more than 0.5%, and so is the S&P. It's time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather. Alex Williams joining us now from the WSB 24-hour traffic center. He has a look at your roads.
And if you're heading out this lunch hour out of Duluth, trying to make your way down into Norcross, still got some leftover volume. 85 southbound from Pleasant Hill Road down to the crash off to the right in DeKalb County at Pleasantdale Road. Right lane construction 85 northbound in Duluth at Steve Reynolds Boulevard, exit 103. On the south side, still seeing some brake lights on and off 75 south. Just volume though through Stockbridge from Highway 138 down to Hudson Bridge Road. And downtown 75-85 southbound, seeing a little bit of a lunchtime push, leaving 17th Street as you make your way down to North Avenue. Northbound tapping the brakes from University Avenue up past Freedom Parkway. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
It's time now for Atlanta Radio's only 5-day forecast, sponsored here at noon by Shoemate, the official air conditioning of Atlanta. Here's WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards.
Partly cloudy through this afternoon, hot with a high of 94. That's trending a few degrees above average for today. Lows tonight in the mid-70s. Tomorrow, partly cloudy, mainly dry. An isolated pop-up shower can't be ruled out, high 93. A few more of those pop-up storms possible on Wednesday, high 92. Then scattered rain showers and thunderstorms through the afternoons on Thursday and Friday, with daytime highs in the upper 80s to low 90s.
We have 88 degrees here in Midtown Atlanta. We'll have more news at 12:30, breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
Hello, America. Welcome. It is Eric Erickson here. Glad to have you. We've got a situation that's just hitting the news wires as I come on. Wasn't going to talk about it, but it suddenly hit the news wires and need to start the show with this. This is from Bill Malugin at Fox News. 3 federal and Texas law enforcement sources telling him an active shooter with rifle and tactical gear ambushed Border Patrol agents as they arrived at a Border Patrol annex facility in McAllen, Texas this morning. Local police and federal agents returned fire, killing the man. Malugin is told it was a purposeful ambush attack against federal agents. A press conference is planned for later today. No federal agents were injured. A McAllen police officer may have been shot, but is in stable condition, according to reports. This is happening. The Department of Homeland Security has released a statement, quote, "This morning, an individual opened fire at the entrance of the U.S. Border Patrol Sector Annex in McAllen, Texas. Both Border Patrol agents and local police neutralized the shooter. This is an ongoing investigation led by the FBI." You continue to get into this hysteria, calling these people Nazis for doing their jobs, and you provoke all sorts of violence. A North Texas police officer was ambushed at a Department of Homeland Security facility and shot in the neck by 8 men in body armor Saturday in North Texas. This is becoming a pattern of progressive activists taking shots at law enforcement simply for doing their jobs. This is happening as the show begins. As I get more information, I will bring you up to speed on it. Now I want to go to where I wanted to start the program, and you're going to need to bear with me here because I decided intentionally I'm going to approach this in a somewhat circuitous way to make a larger point. But first, you need to know the updated toll from Kerr County, Texas. 75 bodies have been recovered. 48 are adults, 27 are children. Of the 48 adults, 15 adults and 9 children are pending identification. There are still 10 campers and a counselor missing from Camp Mystic. I want to start, and if you read my morning piece, you kind of get where I'm going with this. But it's really important for you to hear this. The ghouls have come out of the woodwork to assign blame. Do you know why the narcissus flower grows by riverbanks? You know, the little snowdrop flower, the narcissus, why it grows there? It grows there because the narcissus flower thousands of years ago was actually a man named Narcissus. We get the word narcissism from him, and Narcissus stared at his reflection in the water for so long, so in love with himself, he started to grow roots, and the gods turned him into a flower. That's why the narcissus grows by riverbanks. Do you know why the spider spins webs? It's because there was a woman named Arachne. And Arachne made beautiful, beautiful woven blankets. So beautiful, she was convinced she made blankets that were greater than even the gods could make. She became very, very prideful of her talents. And the gods turned her into a spider which we call Arachne. And she, to this day, weaves her webs. You know, Icarus flew too close to the sun. His father, Daedalus, made wings of wax, and they escaped from a tower, and Icarus flew too close to the sun, and his father said, don't do that. Don't do that. You're too close to the sun. And Apollo, as Helios, driving the sun across the sky, got closer to Icarus, who in his pride thought he could be as high as the gods, and melted the wings, and Icarus plummeted to his death. Which gets me to Apollo and Artemis. Twins, male and female, fraternal twins. And in the day, Apollo would drive the sun across the sky. That's why the sun moved from east to west every day. Apollo drove the sun across the sky in a chariot. And at night, his sister Artemis would take the chariot. And she, of course, would drive the moon across the sky. That's how the Greeks explain things. In the Iliad, there's the river Scamander, and Achilles makes the river mad. And so the river, enraged, spills out of its banks, cascading water, drowning people in its path. The river god Scamander was mad. The Greeks explained life in that way. Things were related to the gods. And today, just as the Greeks were idol worshippers, the progressives in this country are idol worshippers as well. I intentionally say progressives and not the left, because last year, Hurricanes Helene and Milton made shore in the United States. Helene devastating the southeast up through North Carolina. Just absolutely, North Carolina gets a lot of the attention. Augusta, Georgia, was brutalized. People were without power for months. And then Milton rolled through and did more damage. Republican Marjorie Taylor Greene and others suggested the Biden administration was steering the hurricanes to steal the election, that the government had the power to conjure and steer hurricanes to steal an election because, though they profess Christ on their lips, we know they're rotten fruit. They worship at the altar of politics. They are idol worshipers. A number of politicians and political activists are today claiming that the flooding in Texas was because of government cloud seeding trying to drown good Republicans. Yes, there are some Republican activists out there claiming that, but I would have you note how few there are of them compared to how many Democrats who worship at the altar of politics have convinced the gods have betrayed them. It's idol worship, and it is mythology. The number of Democrats this weekend who saw the dead in Texas and the rivers rise and decided it's Donald Trump's fault is staggering. Democratic politicians from across the nation, Democratic activists. One woman was on the board of a food bank in Texas. The mayor of Houston has fired her because she did a video on TikTok that is expletive-laden in which she was outraged that people were covering the deaths of the girls at Camp Mystic, saying that it's all a bunch of white girls, no big deal, and they wouldn't even cover it if they were non-white. She referred to the girls, I am told in a comment online that she deleted but people screenshotted, as the C word. The C word to little girls who are dead. White girls getting attention is how she said it in her TikTok video. A pediatrician has lost her job. She had a vile Twitter post. May all visitors, children, non-MAGA voters, and pets be safe and dry. Non-MAGA voters. Kerr County MAGA voted to gut FEMA. They deny climate change. May they get what they voted for. Bless their hearts. She was an employer at Bluefish Pediatrics. I don't know where that is. Her name was Christina Probst, the pediatrician who's now lost her job. A pediatrician. May they get what they voted for. Looks like Texas. My gosh. The ghouls. The ghouls so broken by politics. On George Stephanopoulos' show this weekend, Democrats insisted that it was cuts to NOAA and the National Weather Service that caused this. The NOAA cuts don't take effect until next year. Even Bernie Sanders' campaign manager came out and said, this isn't appropriate. Those cuts don't even take effect until next year. Pray for the families. Stop trying to make this about politics. There are videos out there that show the river rising in minutes. And by the way, the actual weather experts have said the National Weather Service cuts that the left are blaming have no responsibility for what happened. In fact, of all people, it's a PBS reporter, Ali Rogan, who is pointing out, based on the experts she has talked to, that there is no legitimate reason to blame the National Weather Service. There was one National Weather Service employee who took early retirement. That's it. That person does happen to coordinate with local agencies, but that the National Weather Service was actually overstaffed. This is Ali Rogan, NewsHour correspondent. I spoke today with two very smart climate and meteorology scientists about what exactly caused the tragic level of loss in Texas Hill Country. I'm no expert, but I'm lucky enough to talk to them. Here are a few insights. These types of convective extremes are different than other types of large systems that you can easily track over long periods of time. It's hard to be able to predict very far in advance where these storms will hit and how much. That brings us to the second point, which is that the National Weather Service did everything it could in textbook fashion in terms of prediction. They continually upgraded their messaging as the severity of the storm came into focus. It's too early to speculate on whether specific staffing, National Weather Service cuts may have contributed to the failure to communicate the escalating alerts to local communities. They acknowledge something clearly went wrong at the last mile of dissemination. What we don't know is exactly what the failures were. There was a warning coordination meteorologist who took early retirement. There are open questions. Nobody who follows climate science and the functions of the National Weather Service is making casual connections or causal connections between the department and the tragedy. No one who follows it, no one who is an expert is making those comparisons. No one who is an expert is there ghoulishly blaming, but the Democrats are out there doing it. George Stephanopoulos was doing it. Some of the folks on CNN were doing it. This is an expert on CNN, except not a weather expert. She worked for Obama. She writes, MAGA and right-wing media seem very upset today as a chorus of us experts discuss the impact of cuts to weather forecasting. This is the world of disaster information wars. I say this, a total tragedy in Texas, and we owe those young girls the willingness to learn from it. She is not a weather expert. By the way, this happened in 1987. 10 campers died in the flooding in 1987. This is not new. The alerts happened overnight, 1 and 2 o'clock in the morning. The National Weather Service office delivered forecasts. They had extra staff on duty knowing it was going to be bad. They started warning people ahead of time. Overnight, the actual experts did the actual weather alerts, but it was overnight. People were sleeping. Some people were in areas with no cell phone communication. To blame Donald Trump is to blame your gods for betraying you. To look at this and immediately jump to political machinations and political failures is to admit that you worship the idol of politics. Normal people do not jump to political conclusions in times of tragedy. They pray. Normal people do not wonder how government budget cuts caused girls to die and drown at a camp. They pray. Normal people do not look at a situation like this and immediately jump into the political conclusions. They pray. They offer thoughts and prayers. They contribute money. And you know the worst thing about it? The worst thing about it is that all of these people, including people at CNN and MSNBC and ABC, CBS, NBC, even the New York Times got in on the act. You know what they did? They jumped immediately to the political calculus because they worship at the idol altar of gods of politics, and they ignored the heroism of the camp counselor who smashed a window as the flooding was taking her cabin away, had all the girls latch hold of her, and swam to shore with these girls clinging to her for life. They ignored the heroism of the Coast Guard swimmer who saved by himself 165 people in the raging waters. They ignored the HEB staff who sprang into action overnight to deliver food and shelter. They ignore all the people in Texas who stood up on their own without the government telling them what to do to save lives. They ignore all of that because they worship at the altar of politics. They are idol worshipers of the worst kind. And they immediately looked and said, how did my gods betray me? And their gods are politics. And so they went immediately to political conclusions instead of recognizing this is a natural disaster that came upon people quickly in the middle of the night while they slept. That's what happened. It's a tragedy. It's not a political problem.
Have something to say? Hello. Call the show. 1-877-97-ERIC. That's 1-877-973-7425.
1221 Cold Lake Carrier, WSB 24-hour traffic center. Looking for a new crash, 7585 northbound before I-20 exit 247. You're stacked up as you leave University Avenue. Some southbound delays from Brookwood, 7585 southbound right around 17th Street down toward North Avenue. And still sluggish 85 southbound between Duluth and I-285 Spaghetti Junction. Traffic brought to you by Georgia Aquarium. This summer, experience bioluminescence and all things lights during glow nights at Georgia Aquarium. Save $10 after 4 p.m. Just visit georgiaaquarium.org. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
You're by the pool.
You're relaxing.
You're sipping a drink.
Someone brings you a towel.
Adjust the umbrella.
Sound like a fantasy?
It's not if you win $1,000 from WSB.
It's WSB's $1,000 Thursdays this Thursday.
Listen for the keyword at 9, 10, and 11 a.m. and 12, 1, 2, and 3 p.m.
Enter the keyword at WSBradio.com or the WSB app within that hour, and you could win $1,000. Get all the info at WSBradio.com.
$1,000 Thursdays
from 95.5 WSB,
where Atlanta wins.
This is Scott Slade, updating my health story. I get a checkup every year, and last September, my primary care physician was troubled by a suspicious number on my lab work. Well, that led to a diagnosis early enough to give me options, and I'm more optimistic than ever about a good outcome. Now, when we're talking about our health, level with your providers if you think you have a problem. We all need expert eyes looking us over every so often. That's where virtual imaging can be invaluable. Virtual Imaging's LDCT body scan can give you time and options for early treatment, especially for cancer. They can detect tumors as early as precancerous virtually anywhere in your body, and aneurysms you may not even know are there. For a limited time, Virtual Imaging is extending their core body scan offer for only $995 per scan. That's a $2,495 value. Early detection saves lives, and now it's more affordable than ever. Virtual Imaging has gotten such great response, they've opened up more times in both offices. But appointments will fill up fast for this offer, so don't wait. Some minimum requirements may apply. Early detection is your best protection. To schedule your virtual imaging $995 core body scan, call 770-678-SCAN. That's 770-678-SCAN. Or make an appointment by visiting their website at virtualimagingatl.com. That's virtualimagingatl.com. Do it now, while you still have options.
My old mentor had a saying, if you want to know how rich you are, add up everything you have that money can't buy and death can't take away. Even if you've been chasing a version of wealth that doesn't last, you can still redirect. First, make sure your own relationship with God is what it needs to be. And then help others get right with Him too. Only two things with us today last forever: the Word of God and the souls of people. This is Tom Gray, and This Stuff Matters.
ThisStuffMatters.net. If you need a new garage door, this could be your lucky day. Entries are open now for the $5,000 sweepstakes at Overhead Door Company of Atlanta. A winner will be chosen at random to receive $5,000 towards new garage doors, openers, or front entry doors of their choice. Deadline to enter is the end of the month to win the $5,000 sweepstakes with Overhead Door Company of Atlanta. You can't win if you don't enter. Enter now at overheaddooratlanta.com. That's overheaddooratlanta.com.
You've probably heard that constipation and IBS can all be related to a lack of fiber in your diet. Hi, it's Sue from Bread Beckers with Sue's Healthy Minute. If you or someone you know suffers from constipation or IBS, let the Bread Beckers show you the way to more fiber and regularity and to better health without swallowing a pill or a bad-tasting drink. At the Bread Becker store in Woodstock, we can teach you how to make real, delicious bread loaded with fiber from real whole grains. A healthy, affordable, and delicious solution for your family that can change your life. This is not like the enriched bread you buy at the grocery store. It's real bread. I have a degree in food science, and for more than 30 years, I've studied the incredible health benefits of whole grains and real bread. So if you're struggling with bowel issues, high cholesterol, warts, or kids who seem to be constantly sick, take the first steps to a healthier life. Visit breadbeckers.com or our Bread Beckers store in Woodstock.
Hey, if you got weekend plans, make sure your home is ready for them. I called Wise Guys Pro Wash, and boom, the house, driveway, and patio were spotless. They even cleaned the roof. I didn't even have to be home. They are truly professionals using the top equipment in the industry, and their soft washing kept my home safe and damage-free, and the results, incredible. Wise Guys has more than 2,000 five-star reviews, and I know why now. So mention me, Chris Chandler, for $70 off your next service. Book today at wiseguysprowash.com.
All the news, weather, and traffic you need. 95.5 WSB.
Giving you the truth, not the talking points. It's the Eric Erickson Show.
Well, for those of you who got tickets, Saturday's the day. Doors open 6 p.m. The Fox Theater in Atlanta, the Not Safe for Radio show. Y'all, a buddy of mine who's a pastor reached out to me this morning and said, "How are you feeling about this?" And I used a naughty word and said, "I am very, very nervous. I'm now having second thoughts about why on earth did I do this? But I've done it. So Saturday, 6 p.m. doors open, Fox Theater. If you got your tickets, it's completely sold out now. It's sold out in 6 hours. Looking forward to people who come. Y'all, I want you to get online if you can today. I want you to get online. I want you to go online and I want you to Google the name Scott Ruskin, Ruskan. I want you to memorize this guy's face. And if you ever see him in a bar, you will buy his bar tab for him. His money should be no good in any bar in America for the rest of his life. His drinks should be on the house. This man and his air crew saved 165 lives on their first mission during the Texas floods. He and his crew, they are American heroes. He gave up a job at KPMG to join the Coast Guard, moved to Corpus Christi, and just saved a lot of lives. I got to tell you about Americans for Prosperity. They are working on common sense conservative reforms across the country, and they'd really like to have you involved with them. Americans for Prosperity, I'm on their board of advisors. They go door to door, educating Americans on common sense conservative solutions. They talk to state legislators. They talk to local officials. They talk to members of Congress. They motivate their army of activists to get involved. They'd love to have you get involved. They would love to have you, even if you just want to stay up to date on what's going on in your state, your local community, or the federal government. Americans for Prosperity would love to have you involved. What you do is you go to americansforprosperity.org today. You sign up with AFP. You become part of their army of activists. You don't have to knock on doors if you're not comfortable with that. You don't even have to go to the legislature if you're not comfortable with that. Just stay informed. Know what's going on in your state and community from a conservative policy perspective. americansforprosperity.org. Go sign up with them today.
All the notifications you need.
The story developing in Marietta.
All the local and breaking news alerts you need.
We're following breaking news in Atlanta.
All in one place.
The 95.5 WSB app.
Download it today.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
Traffic. 95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It is 12:30. Good afternoon. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news sponsored by Jim Ellis Automotive. The death toll from the Texas floods, now at least 89 dead. Kerrville, Texas, City Manager Dalton Rice among the officials at a news conference today updating the latest on the search for victims.
Search and rescue operations will continue today from Hunt in North Kerr County all the way to Canyon Lake in Comal County.
And President Trump saying he plans to go to Texas this week. Your weather for today, partly cloudy and hot. We're already hot here in Midtown Atlanta. Afternoon highs could be right there around 95 degrees. From the Georgia Department of Public Safety this afternoon, we have the numbers in from the holiday period from July 3rd through the 6th. According to the state, there were 433 DUIs, a total of 610 distracted driver citations that were handed out, 203 crashes. Of those, 7 were fatal. A man is dead after opening fire at a Border Patrol facility in South Texas. McAllen Police Chief Victor Rodriguez says this was an ambush.
Border Patrol agents returned fire and subsequently neutralized, that is, killed the person that had opened fire upon that building.
He says no federal agents were hurt. One local police officer was hit in the knee by either a bullet or a bullet fragment. The gunman identified as Ryan Moscotti. He's from Michigan. He arrived at the facility in a car with Michigan license plates on the side. We understand that there were some spray-painted words, but the chief would not elaborate on what those words were. Early voting underway here today for a runoff election that could impact your utility bills. 2 candidates running as Democrats for District 3 of the Georgia Public Service Commission. They could face off in a primary runoff after neither secured the necessary majority vote needed in last month's primary. Peter Hubbard and Keisha Waits are both vying for the seat, which is elected by voters statewide. The winners will face incumbent Republican Commissioner Fitz Johnson come November. And this week, there will be rolling lane closures both south and northbound on Georgia 400. This is between Abernathy Road and Georgia 141. It's because of the work on the upcoming Express Lanes project. The lane closures will be in place now through Saturday, according to the Georgia Department of Transportation, from 9 p.m. in the evening through 5 a.m. each day. It's 12:32.
It's Eric, and one of the questions I get asked all the time is, Erickson, where do I get a computer? I don't want to worry about the setup and all the tech support stuff. Y'all, you go to Vision Computers. Call them at 404-COMPUTE. Listen, when you call Vision, you're not getting stuck in a maze of hold music or menus. They answer the phone 15 seconds on average. That's right, 15 seconds. Real people, real help, real fast, right when you need it. And here's the part I love. You got an older computer. You got programs you rely on. Maybe QuickBooks or a niche software for your small business. You're afraid a new computer means losing it all or spending days doing transfers. Vision Computers got you covered. As long as your software is supported in Windows 11, they can move all your programs from your old computer to the new one efficiently, safely, and fast. It's like handing off all the hassle to someone who's an expert and knows what they're doing. So if you're thinking your old computer is fine but slowing down, maybe time for a new one. Call 404-COMPUTE today. That's 404-COMPUTE. Let Vision Computers take care of everything. You're never going to want to buy a computer another way.
Wall cracks, window stuck, could be a foundation problem. Mark Beckham with Atlanta Ramjack, and our estimators are thoroughly trained to get you the proper evaluation for your home. Schedule your free assessment with the foundation repair experts at atlantaramjack.com.
Want to escape the smothering Georgia heat? Escape with Jape.
This is Daniel Jape with Jape Services.
And I'm Jana Jape. Our family has been keeping Atlanta homeowners cool with superior quality of work for over 5 decades.
So there's no problem we haven't already seen, and there's no problem we can't fix. We're licensed, insured, and all of our services come with a warranty and price transparency. I personally guarantee you, when you call Jape, you'll be treated just like family.
Jape Services.
Baseball is all about stepping up to the plate when it matters most. And when you've been injured, you need a heavy hitter in your corner. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Injured? Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Hey, it's Scott Slade for FGA Roofing. If your home's exterior could use an updated look, or maybe one of your neighbor's designer roofs has caught your eye, and your current roof has started to show its age, then now's the perfect time to check out FGA Roofing for the latest in architectural shingles, timberland shingles, and more. Slate, tile, wood shake, cedar roofs, FGA has them all. FGA Roofing offers 0% financing for 12 months with your good credit. Get the roof you want now and pay over time. Click firstgaroof.com. That's firstgaroof.com.
Quickly, Alex Williams, how are we doing on the roads?
New crash downtown. It's in the HOV lane. Trying to clear it. 7585 northbound at I-20. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Partly cloudy, hot today, high 94.
All right, we'll have more news at 1 o'clock. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
Hello, welcome. It is Eric Erickson here. The phone number 877-973-7425 if you wish to be on the program, although we've been gone since Thursday. So we did Thursday show, hit the road with the kids out on Friday. So you're just going to have to be patient with me as I get through some of the headlines that have percolated over a busy 3-day weekend. One of the things you do when you run for campaign. So back up. I've got a lot of new audience, including Buffalo, New York. Welcome. As an aside, so I'm in Vegas this weekend, and the number of people I encountered in multiple locations who recognize me was a little bit off-putting to the point that my son said, "Dad, I used to like coming out here because nobody recognized you." So I'm on KXNT in Las Vegas, and I'm running delay out there. It's weekdays, but in delay. But at the Wynn, a couple of dealers recognized me at the Palazzo. Not only there was a guy who is from Tulsa, Oklahoma, who listens to me on KRMG, who was at the craps table with me, and then the dealer in the Pit Boss or whatever recognized me. We were at a restaurant, and the waiter listens every day. Very, very nice people. But my kids were like, "Dad, we used to be able to come here. Nobody recognized you." Sorry, kids. But it was very flattering. Everybody was very, very nice. Nonetheless, so got a number of stations that are new and some that have moved me now from weekends to live or 5 days a week. So let me just reset a little bit here like this. I was a lawyer for 6 years. When I was in law school, I was a political nerd. I started the College Republicans when I was in college at my alma mater. And then I became the chairman. I was actually the very last chairman of the Georgia Federation of College Republicans and the very first chairman of the Georgia Association of College Republicans in Georgia. Got involved in politics, working on campaigns, but went to campaign management school, ran campaigns around the country, ultimately got myself elected to office. I happen to know something about running for office. One of the things that you have to do when you run for office, particularly for a big office, is you have to hire an opposition researcher because you're running against people. So here's what you normally do when you run for office. And shut up, Philip. I know this is coming. You need to read your book on how to run for office. Here's one of the things you have to do. You sit in a room and you do a SWOT analysis, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats. When I would run candidates for office, I would get them in a room, and I did this to congressional candidates. I would do this to congressional candidates. I would do it to local candidates. It didn't matter. I even did it to myself. You got to sit them in a room with their closest friends and spouse, maybe their kids if their kids are grown up, and say, "Tell me every bad thing about this person that you know," in front of them. It's always uncomfortable. Always uncomfortable. You sit with the candidate first and you say, "Tell me every bad thing that no one else knows." And you're going to tell me. I ran campaigns through my law firm, and I would tell my candidates, attorney-client privileged, you're going to tell me every bad thing you think no one knows because someone's going to find it out on you. And then I'd sit there with the spouse and best friends, and we'd go through everything. What are the annoying tics? What are the traits? Now tell me the good stuff. And then we would figure out who is your most likely opponent. Who do you think is going to be your biggest opponent? Let's put your strengths against their weaknesses and their strengths against your weaknesses, and we can come up with a theme for your campaign. We can come up with the message always. I never had it happen where the message was not obvious by the end of the exercise. You would go in thinking, I want my theme to be this. This is going to be my talking point. You'd come out saying, actually, this is it. Worked every time. You do opposition research on yourself because there are bad things you have done in your life that you think no one knows about that someone's going to find out, and they're going to use it against you. I ran a campaign one time for a guy. I fell into running the campaign because I was the guy's lawyer, and I knew campaign management and politics, and his campaign manager just went AWOL on him. Just the campaign was struggling. Campaign manager disappeared, was very passive-aggressive. And he was a Baptist minister, but he's also a small businessman. He was a book publisher, among other things. A very good businessman, not a great pastor, frankly. Just a wonderful human being. He and his family, wonderful human beings. And I told him on the campaign when they were getting started, it's like, you can't run as the Baptist preacher. You can't run as the Baptist preacher, because if you run as the Baptist preacher, you've published some books that offend Christians with your book publishing company, and that will come out and that will neutralize any advantage you have by running as the pastor. You can't do it. Well, I was the new kid on the block, and he listened to people who were donors, highly involved in politics. They said, no, the district you're running in, it's super Christian district. You should run as the Baptist minister. Sure enough, we get into a runoff, and his opponent beats the hell out of him for having published a book by a pastor supporting gay marriage, way before gay marriage was a thing. And he loses the runoff. And I'll never forget, we were walking across the street in Washington, D.C. He was going into endorsement from a conservative group, and he turns around in the middle of the street, and he looks at me, and he just points. He says, I'll tell you one thing. If I ever run for Congress again, I will not run as the GD preacher. Yeah, except he didn't say GD. And all I thought was, dude, I saw this coming from the beginning, but nobody wanted to believe me because I was the young kid, and you trusted the advisors. And he went on actually to get elected to something else. A great guy, wonderful, his whole family. But I could see it coming. And my advice, I use that example all the time, is you got to hire opposition research. You got to understand how you're going to be attacked, but also you've got to hire opposition research to dig up the stuff on the other side. You've got to have opposition research to be able to find out what's happening on the other side. Who is the person you're running against? Which leads me to Mamdani in New York. And what the hell was Andrew Cuomo spending his money on? This is from Max Tani at Semaphore. The afternoon before a long holiday weekend isn't always the best time to drop a major scoop, but the New York Times did not want to wait to publish its story about Zohran Mamdani's application to Columbia University in 2009, in which the paper reported that the Democratic nominee for New York City mayor then identified his race on a form as both Asian and Black or African American. Mamdani is of South Asian ethnicity and was born in Uganda. The story, published late last week, came as the result of the release of hacked Columbia University records that were then shared with the Times. The paper believed it had reason to push the story out quickly. It did not want to be scooped by the independent journalist Christopher Rufo. Two people familiar with the reporting process told Semaphore that the paper was aware that other journalists were working on the admission story, including Rufo, a conservative best known for his crusade against critical race theory. In a message, Christopher Rufo confirmed to Semaphore that he had been reporting out the piece before the Times published its version of the story. The Rufo said that he would be publishing additional details about the incident on the Substack in the coming days. The spokesperson for the paper declined to comment on whether Rufo's reporting prompted the paper to push the piece out on Thursday, and pointed Semaphore to a statement it first provided to the Columbia Journalism Review outlining its reason for publishing the piece. What matters most here is whether the information was true and factual. It was confirmed by Mr. Mamdani that it was independently confirmed and that is relevant to the public, says Patrick Healy, assistant managing editor for Standards and Trusts at the Times. Y'all, how did Andrew Cuomo not find this out? And also, this is a guy, his family is exceedingly wealthy. His mother is involved in Hollywood. His father's a noted, renowned academic, communist, on the left at least. And Mamdani is a communist. PolitiFact says he's not. We've literally now discovered his tweets where he's quoting Karl Marx. Give to those according to their need. Take from those according to their ability. That's Mamdami's tweet. Mamdami also tweeted when Andrew Cuomo said people who say they want to defund the police don't mean it. They mean reallocating resources. Mamdami quote tweets it and says, no, we actually mean defund the police. Mamdami is of South Asian ethnicity, Indian, born in Uganda, and decided to check the I'm African American box and Asian. He took advantage of racial preferences at Columbia University to get ahead of the line by saying he wasn't just Asian, he was also black. You black voters in New York, by the way, black voters in New York, a majority of them voted for Andrew Cuomo. I'm sure they're going to be delighted to know that Mamdami decided to claim he was one of them in order to get into Columbia. And here's the funny thing is that there are just thousands and thousands of tweets of his that no one bothered to check on Andrew Cuomo's campaign. How could you not do this? He actually called for tearing down the statue of Christopher Columbus that became so controversial. Even Bill de Blasio chose not to tear down the statue of Christopher Columbus. And Mamdami wants to tear down the statue of Christopher Columbus. He also wants to raise taxes. In fact, he wants to do a lot of things that you can't actually do. Here's Andrew Ross Sorkin and Eric Adams on CNBC talking about this.
What about the affordability message that Mamdami has put out there? Now, look, the truth is there's a lot of things he said that he can't actually do, things that you have said and I think described. Right. But the question is, how do you reach those voters who say, yeah, there's an affordability issue, and what are you going to do, and what are you going to tell those people that you can fix?
Great question. Legitimate concerns about affordability, not only in the city, in the country. Everyone could talk about the prices that we're dealing with, purchasing basic things, and we got that. We heard that message. I know we're living in poverty. He knows we're living in luxury, actually is. I know living on the verge of homelessness. I know struggling every day, going to school with a garbage bag full of clothing, afraid you're going to be thrown out. That's my story. That is not his story. He's a academic elitist that comes with these philosophies and principles that don't work out on ground. The foundation of him paying for free buses, he wants to tax 1% of high-income New Yorkers. Mayors don't have that authority. You know who has that authority? Assemblyman. He's an assemblyman. And the governor already made it clear she's never going to do it. And so the foundation of his program is not winnable. Right. Now look at mine. $30 billion back into the pockets of working class people, paying off medical debt, paying college tuition for foster care children, dropping the cost of Metro cards on those low-income New Yorkers, just passed acts to tax. Low-income New Yorkers pay no income tax at all because of the partnership we had with Albany. So finding ways as the mayor to put money back in the pockets of working class people, I know how to do. He does it. This is a class exercise. Right now, we need expertise that we don't lose the success we made in this city.
Yeah, but the good white people of New York have decided they want the radical. And Andrew Cuomo had the opportunity to highlight just how radical he was, radical beyond what even some of the good white people who want radicalism want. He actually is a communist. And it's notable that PolitiFact has claimed it's false to call him a communist when he actually uses repeatedly the rhetoric of communism and quotes Karl Marx pretty regularly in his Twitter feed. Again, something that Andrew Cuomo should have picked up on. And here's the thing. Andrew Cuomo got a lot of consultants, and he paid them a lot of money, and they bled him dry. And that's exactly what's going to happen to Elon Musk and his party. The consultants are going to take advantage of the man. I've seen it happen too many times. Andrew Cuomo's campaign in New York is a test case for that. The man, Mamdani had all this stuff out there in the public, in the wild, and the Cuomo campaign seemed absolutely clueless. When you start a campaign, you start with opposition research. And Cuomo dropped the ball. It is campaign malpractice, and yet that guy thought that he could resurrect his career. No, this just shows you he was born with a silver spoon in his mouth, being the son of Mario Cuomo, and got there more from his name than his competence. And we're seeing the fallout of this now. Now, I got to tell you about Eden Pure. Eden Pure Thunderstorm, you can get 3 of them. You can save $200. You can get them at EdenPureDeals.com. It's an air purifier. So I had one with me in Vegas. Thankfully, I didn't have to use it. This thing is so small, you can hold it in your hand, and it's an air purifier. It doesn't just trap the dust and the pollen and wipe out the bacteria and viruses that funnel through it. It generates and emits ozone into your room. And ozone is well documented for eliminating all odors. So it's an odor eliminator. I don't use it for the dust and the pollen and smoke particle stuff. I use it for odor elimination. I've used it in rental cars that people have smoked in. I've used it in hotel rooms where people were smoking in the room next door. I've used it in my kitchen when I make gumbo and the roux gets real smoky. Right when you know it's good, it starts getting smoky. It's not burned. It's just getting very dark chocolate colored, and it starts getting smoky, and my wife and kids start complaining. The Eden Pure Thunderstorm, it wipes out the odors. You can get 3 of them, upstairs, downstairs, your basement. Put one in your travel bag like I do. Put one in your RV if you have one, wherever you need them. You can plug it in with a USB cord. You can plug it into the wall. It just works. EdenPureDeals.com. Eden like the Garden of Eden, pure as the driven snow. EdenPureDeals.com. You put in the discount code ERIC3, ERICK3. You'll see the discount code box on the front page. EdenPureDeals.com. Put in ERIC3, ERICK3. You can get 3 of them. You can save $200.
Honest.
Putting your trust in me to tell you what's going on.
Transparent.
I need you to know this from the bottom of my heart.
Giving you the information without the noise.
My job isn't to tell you what you want to hear. It's to tell you the truth.
It's the Eric Erickson Show.
1251, Cool Ray Carrier, WSB 24-hour traffic center. Traffic Trooper Harry tells us about a stall in Sandy Springs. Stalled big rig in the right lane, 285 westbound, the outer loop before Riverside Drive, exit 24. That's why you're slow leaving Georgia 400. Also found a new crash in Clarkston. They're heading out of Clarkston, 285 southbound, the inner loop past Glenwood Road, exit 44. That's impacting the left lane, slowing you back toward Memorial Drive. Traffic brought to you by your neighborhood Kroger Pharmacy. Kroger Pharmacy welcomes Express Scripts, Medicare D, and TRICARE Department of Defense plan members. You can transfer prescriptions at Kroger.com/payer-update. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
Tuesday, starting at 5 on Atlanta's Morning News, Clark Howard's looking at a website that might help you save on your medicine. Join us on 95.5 WSB.
Hey, now's the time of year you're really enjoying that deck, I bet. Grilling food, sitting out relaxing, having friends over, good times. Dave Baker here from my deck experts, Ben Hill Renovations. I get it though, if you're still dragging your heels a bit on getting a new deck, I know you want to make sure you find the right builder so you can upgrade your outdoor living space correctly and within your budget. So here's a few things to consider when selecting a builder for your deck. You'll want someone who will build your deck up to future county and city code requirements. You'll want a builder who'll pull a permit for the work. Yes, the builder will need a permit, and pulling a permit now saves you headaches in the future. You'll also want different options, styles, types of wood, and colors to choose from. You'll get all that at Ben Hill Renovations, plus superior craftsmanship from their 60 years of experience, and your job will be backed by their workmanship warranty. Visit bhrenovations.com today and schedule a free design consultation at your home. Ben Hill Renovations, creating raving fans since 1964.
If you've been taught that all bread is unhealthy, I'm here to tell you not if it's real bread. Hi, I'm Sue Becker from Bread Beckers with Sue's Healthy Minute. If you're struggling with weight gain, high cholesterol, constipation, even warts, or kids who seem to be constantly sick, come visit us at the Bread Becker store in Woodstock, where we have taught thousands of customers that real bread might be their healthy solution. I have a degree in food science, and for more than 30 years, I've studied the incredible health benefits of real whole grains and bread. I discovered that store-bought bread has had most of the nutrients in the grain removed during milling, and yes, even packages labeled 100% whole wheat. Make a healthy eating change in your life at Bread Beckers in Woodstock. We'll show you how bread, but only real bread, might be the answer to your family's physical ills. The Bread Beckers. Visit breadbeckers.com or our Bread Beckers store in Woodstock.
This is Scott Slade, and nothing takes the place of time when it comes to spotting problems with your health, especially cancer. The earlier, the better. That's where virtual imaging comes in. Virtual imaging's LDCT body scan can be invaluable, giving you more time for you and your loved ones to take charge of your health. They can detect tumors as early as precancerous virtually anywhere in your body and aneurysms you may not even know are there. Due to overwhelming demand for a limited time, their $995 core body scan offer has been extended. It's a $2,495 value. Early detection saves lives, and now it's more affordable than ever. Virtual Imaging has gotten such great response to this offer that they've opened up more times in both offices, but appointments will fill up fast, so don't wait. Some minimum requirements may apply. Early detection is your best protection. To schedule your Virtual Imaging $995 core body scan, call 770-678-SCAN. That's 770-678-SCAN. Or make an appointment by visiting their website at virtualimagingatl.com.
WSB Atlanta, WSBB FM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Your non-stop news source, 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Get the podcast, live stream, email, and social media links by texting Eric to 33777 now.
Hello there, it's Eric Erickson. I try not to do the whole breaking news stuff because, like on Fox and CNN and MSNBC, every other segment is breaking news, and it's something you already know. But there is something that's just now hitting the wires. Donald Trump has just announced he's going to impose a 25% tariff on goods from Japan and South Korea immediately because of a failure to negotiate trade deals. So, I've got on my calendar next week to do a review of tariffs, and I'm wondering what's the point because it's pretty clear the 10% tariff has driven up revenue, but it hasn't massively impacted the economy. We'll know more next week, but a lot of the tariffs that the president said he was imposing never got imposed. So also, we people think we have all these tariffs right now, and we actually don't have the tariffs people think that we have right now, which is kind of a big deal. So we'll see where all of this works out. But he wants to add a 25% tariff to Japan and South Korea that will definitely make TVs more expensive as this thing goes. Now, I want to tell you, speaking of tariffs, who got rid of tariffs and his country is just economically exploded is Milei down in Argentina. His growth rate right now is 7%. Economists expected it to plateau and be about a percent or two. It turns out it's a 7% growth rate year over year. Rental prices have gone down, and the availability of housing. He's cured the housing shortage in Buenos Aires by getting rid of rent ceilings. In fact, as New York decides it wants to impose rent control, Milei got rid of it and now has more housing available. New York should learn from this guy, but they won't. All those economists, remember all the economists to be said, if this man gets elected, it'll absolutely devastate Argentina. It turns out Argentina is out of recession. Inflation is now collapsed in Argentina. It's ridiculous how low it's been. Economic growth is soaring. The country is thriving. All the things Milei said he would do, he did, and it worked. And all the people who said he would destroy Argentina should be apologizing, but they won't because they looked at it through a political lens, not really an economic lens. Getting rid of tariffs has helped Argentina grow.
When traffic hits.
I-75 completely shut down north and south between McDonough and Locust Grove.
The Triple Team Traffic Center has you covered.
Brake lights fill in on 316 westbound at Sugarloaf Parkway.
Your source for Atlanta's traffic.
Heavy police fire department activity.
Brought to you by the Cool Ray Lifetime Parts and Labor Warranty.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. If you're over 50 and tired of your wireless bill getting higher and higher, there are 4 things to consider. 1, how much data are you really using? As we get older, we use less data on our wireless phone, but you're probably still paying for an unlimited plan that was designed for 20-somethings. 2, if you see "Get a Phone on Us," get your sneakers out and run the other way. No one is giving you a free phone. You are paying for that phone over time with an overpriced rate plan and a long-term commitment. 3, check the fine print on that $15 a month plan. It's probably an intro price that'll double or triple later. You might even have to pay for several months of service up front. Number 4, be aware of cable company wireless plans. Most of your usage will be on Wi-Fi instead of 5G, and your calls and battery life could suffer. Switch to Consumer Cellular and get the same fast, reliable nationwide service without the big wireless bill. Our plans start at just $20 a month.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Hi there, good afternoon. It is 1 o'clock. I'm Sabrina Cupid. The first trial for one of the defendants accused of trying to stop construction of Atlanta's new public safety training center was scheduled to start today, but that didn't happen. Judge Kevin Farmer addressing the jury.
I am going to declare a mistrial in this case, which means y'all are done.
The Court of Appeals told the judge that news media should not have been excluded from jury selection. A new trial is set for Isla King with a new jury pool, King charged with violating the state's RICO law. All right, partly cloudy and hot this afternoon, headed for a high of 94, says WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. And this is new at 1 o'clock. The city of Atlanta is closing the homeless encampment on Old Wheat Street, where a man was fatally struck inside his tent by a public works truck. Catherine Bassel is the CEO of Partners for Home, a homelessness nonprofit.
We are making offers of housing offers to all 14 individuals.
City officials say that they have 500 beds available and need to get help getting those people out of this dangerous heat. A lone gunman opens fire at a Border Patrol station this morning in McAllen, Texas. The gunman killed in the shootout. Aaron Kotursky following the story.
He's been identified as 27-year-old Ryan Mosqueda. He has a Michigan address, but he was also reported missing just this morning from a local area in Texas. Police haven't quite figured out the nature of that missing persons report. The car he was driving had some words written on it in Latin. They're still trying to sort through that.
And no word on a motive. Update on the deadly Texas flood. Senator Ted Cruz.
Texas is grieving right now. The pain, the shock of what has transpired these last few days has broken the heart of our state.
In all, 89 people so far killed in the flooding. President Trump saying he may visit Texas later this week. Update on the tariffs. President Trump issuing a letter saying goods from Japan and South Korea will be taxed at 25%, and that'll start on August 1st. Let's take a look at the markets. The Dow right now is down 511 at 44,318. So the Dow is down now more than 1%. NASDAQ's down almost a full percent. The S&P's not far behind. It's 102.
A word of caution for motorcycle riders. Remember, 18-wheelers have bigger blind spots, and it takes them longer to stop than a smaller vehicle. Eric Von Hassler here to remind you that if an 18-wheeler forces you to lay your bike down, you need to call in Steel Horse Law. Attorney George Stein is a motorcycle rider, and he understands bikers' needs. Get more info and request a free Rider's Advantage card at steelhorselaw.com.
Save money by getting pre-approved for your next auto loan at Coosa Valley Credit Union. We offer the most competitive interest rates in the market, as low as 3.49 APR when you open an account with direct deposit. This is Andy Harris, president of Coosa Valley Credit Union, inviting you to stop in a branch near you. You'll experience kinder banking with real people, not automation. Plus, with 11 locations in Northwest Georgia, we're always local and nearby.
Contact 706-235-8551 for more details. Equal Opportunity Lender.
Men, are you having problems performing in the bedroom? Do pills like Viagra and Cialis leave you feeling frustrated? Well, now, there's new hope for men who suffer from PE and ED problems. Meet Dr. Katz, a specialist in men's health.
Hey guys, I'm Dr. Katz with Choice Men's Health. Regardless of your age or medical condition, Choice Men's Health can safely restore your sexual potency. Our customized solutions can eliminate your problem in just one visit. There's no pain, no surgery, and it's affordable.
Guys, don't let the anxiety over your performance get you down. We can get you back in the game. Call Choice Men's Health today to find out how you can eliminate ED on the very first visit. Call 404-400-1170. That's 404-400-1170. That's 404-400-1170.
Man's best friend. Loyal, trustworthy, dependable. Findlay Roofing is your roof's best friend. Loyal with a lifetime warranty, trustworthy with upfront pricing, and dependable with the highest quality work. FindlayRoofing.com.
It's 1:05. That means it's time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather. Alex Williams joining us now from the WSB 24-hour Traffic Center. He has a look at your Monday afternoon roads.
And Sabrina got some better news with two trouble spots over on the east side in DeKalb County. One was heading out of Lithonia. Stall was in the right lane, now on the right shoulder. I-20 westbound past Panola Road, exit 71. That'll help out that ride, leaving them all at Stonecrest. We also had a left lane crash, 285 southbound, the Interloop Glenwood Road, exit 44. That as well has been pushed off to the right. Some lingering brake lights out of Clarkston. Earlier crash cleared downtown, 75-85 northbound before I-20. And we've been dealing with a stall. I think it might have cleared out of the right lane. We can't see it on a jam cam, but it had been in that right lane, 285 westbound in Sandy Springs, the outer loop, before Riverside Drive, exit number 24. That's why we've had that slow zone leaving Georgia 400. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Partly cloudy and hot today, high 94, lows tonight in the mid-70s. Tomorrow, a mix of sun and clouds along with an isolated pop-up shower, high 93. A few pop-up storms on Wednesday, high 92.
And Christina says rain and storm chances increase as we get closer to the weekend. It's 89 degrees in Douglasville, 91 right now in Alpharetta. Sugar Hill, you have 90 degrees. We'll have more news at 1:30, breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
Welcome, it's Eric Erickson here across the United States of America. The phone number is 877-973-7425 if you wish to be on the program. Happy to have you nationwide. My goodness gracious. I gotta turn my attention to a particular story that I know has intrigued many of you. I haven't really commented on this regularly, but I have, for the last year or so, have had what I would call an antagonist who has regularly, as the news has arisen, emailed me to harass me for being wrong about something. Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein. I have maintained through the course of my entire professional career in radio, well, I've made jokes about him not hanging himself. I've said odds are he probably did. And I've also said there is no list. There's not going to be a list. There's not going to be an unveiling. Not going to be a list. There's not going to be a list because there never was a list. And the investigation into Epstein was never a strong investigation, and you don't have to believe me on that. The victims of Jeffrey Epstein have regularly said how the government botched the investigation early on. The investigative journalists who have actually looked into it have said Jeffrey Epstein never kept a list of clients, and many of the young women were paid lots of money by billionaires to keep quiet. Many of them were abroad. They weren't inside the United States. You weren't going to get the resolution you wanted. And people have just maintained forever that I was wrong. I was out of it because the Bam Bondi has said so. All these people on the right have said so. Back when he was still on radio before heading over to the FBI, Dan Bongino on his podcast said, I've been covering it for a long time, the Jeffrey Epstein case. You do not know all the details of this thing, I promise. There are a lot of really obviously powerful people. This part you know, but the specific names we may not, including, I believe, the Clintons, based on information I discussed yesterday, who are knee-deep in involvement with Jeffrey Epstein, and no one can figure out what the level of entanglement is. Jeffrey Epstein met with Obama's fixer, his lawyer, Catherine Rumler, who was always the one in the middle of these Obama scandals, and we can't figure out why, what they're hiding. Here's Marsha Blackburn, who's been all over this. She's a senator in Tennessee, a Republican, obviously, and she's like, hey, man, is it time now? It's time to start overturning the rock and seeing what's underneath. Bongino now says he was wrong. Now that he's in the FBI and now that he is investigating and he has seen the evidence for himself, there's no there. And there will be many of you who don't like to hear that because you're convinced, and you're convinced because a lot of these people lied. Here is Elena Haba on with Piers Morgan. This is from February.
But in this case, in Epstein's case, it is incredibly disturbing. We have flight logs, we have information, names that will come out.
Is it going to be shocking?
I don't see how it's not shocking that there were so many individuals that were hidden and kept secret and not been held accountable. Let's talk about the reverse. I believe in accountability. So you have to now go through your process. Now, I won't say they're guilty until they go through their time in court. But again, now it's time for accountability. We have seen for so many years, Pierce, in this country, many investigations, subpoenas, testimonies in Congress, et cetera, et cetera. But there's a general frustration with accountability. We take it halfway, we don't take it home. And I really believe that now with Kash and Pam, there will be accountability.
She really believes with Kash Patel and Pam Bondi, there will now be accountability. We just know there are these lists. We know there are names. We know they are there. And why do you know they are there? Well, this is an exchange between Pam Bondi and John Roberts on Fox News.
The DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients. Will that really happen?
It's sitting on my desk right now to review. That's been a directive by President Trump. I'm reviewing that. I'm reviewing JFK files, MLK files. That's all in the process of being reviewed because that was done at the directive of the president from all of these agencies.
So have you seen anything that you said, oh my gosh?
Not yet.
Okay. Well, we'll check back with you.
Why does Pam Bondi still have a job? Why does Pam Bondi still have a job? Pam Bondi, Donald Trump's attorney general, she said, she looked into the camera. I just played you the clip. The Jeffrey Epstein file is on her desk. There is a list. And today she says there is no list. There never was a list. Pam Bondi went on Fox News and looked you in the eye through the camera and lied to your face. And there are a lot of people out there who have preyed upon your suspicions. There are a lot of people who have profited off gullibility of Americans who are convinced there must be some sinister, dark cabal. And some of you will still not believe me. And you will not now believe Pam Bondi, who insisted she had a list and now says there's none, because she's not going to admit that she lied to you. Some of you will now not believe Kash Patel or Dan Bongino, who went into the FBI convinced that Jeffrey Epstein was murdered and there was this conspiracy, and now they've looked into it, and nope, there's no there. You'll decide the conspirators got to them because you would rather believe the conspiracy than the truth because the conspiracy is more titillating. The conspiracy is more exciting. The conspiracy is more sinister. Many people believe conspiracies because you sleep better at night thinking there's an organized cabal of evil than just bad stuff happens. It's like the left with the flooding in Texas. The left wants to believe that it was politicians and politics and Doge that got those little girls killed because it's better for them to sleep at night blaming Donald Trump than to sleep at night knowing bad things can just happen. People can be washed away from their homes and camps with no notice at night. It's better to believe in the organized evil cabal than to understand evil randomly causes problems on planet Earth and there's nothing you can do about it. People wish to believe in the puppet masters pulling the strings because they can't see and can't fathom the nature of evil. They have to believe it's people, and there are grifters who have fundraised off of it. There are groups out there today claiming they're going to sue the DOJ to see what they got. There is nothing. Do you not think that they would reveal it? You know what the left is doing? The left is in this now saying that Donald Trump must be in there. It must be a bunch of Republicans. That's why they're covering up. They're protecting Donald Trump. No, they're not protecting Donald Trump. If you talk to the investigative reporters who dug into it early on, they told you there was nothing there. But you didn't want to believe them because they're reporters, and you can't believe reporters because reporters are on the left. Never mind that these weren't partisan reporters. There was never an Epstein list. Every single person who had deep familiarity with the case, including the reporters and the victims, always knew it. Yasser Ali, who writes online and at New York Magazine, let me just read you his tweet here. There was never an Epstein list. Every single person deeply involved has always known this. Attorneys representing Epstein's victims said this. But people on Fox News, Attorney General Pam Bondi, others within the government, they lied to you. They had that dog and pony show where they had people show up at the White House and gave them trapper keepers supposedly full of information, and it was old information. They lied to you. They lied to you because many of you were so invested in the lie, and they thought they could continue to string you along because they thought it's what you wanted to hear. You wanted to believe. The people online told you it was there, and you trusted those people. And you will now not be convinced you were played and lied to. Instead, you'll be convinced the conspiracy goes up to God Almighty himself. When you get to heaven and God tells you there never was a list, you'll say, oh my God, the conspiracy goes all the way to you. For over a year, I've had this person emailing me on a regular basis whenever any Epstein stuff would come up saying, you're wrong, you're wrong. Why would Pam Bondi lie? You're wrong, you're wrong. Why would Elena Baba lie? You're wrong, you're wrong. Why would these people lie? Because they wanted to be on your side, and so they told you what you wanted to hear, because why give you the truth when they could string you along with what you were already predisposed to? You got played. I have never knowingly lied to you people. I have defied you many times, making you mad by telling you the truth you did not want to believe. And on this story in particular, for years, I've gotten beat up by my own side, by listeners of mine who were convinced I was just a naive, gullible fool who just was too trusting. No, I've told you all the time, because I was a lawyer. I did criminal law. I actually know how to talk to people. I actually know how to talk to the investigative reporters who have reported on this. I actually know how to read and think critically and not just listen to the YouTube videos and the charlatans and grifters on television and radio who sounded to me very much with my discernment like it was something they thought I wanted to hear. It sounded too good to be true. You really think a criminal mastermind of a global child pedophile ring was going to keep a big list of people anyway so he could blackmail them? That was always the story. He didn't. And a lot of wealthy people who were involved with him had a lot of women sign a lot of non-disclosure agreements, and they live abroad and the FBI can't get to them. Was Jeffrey Epstein a pedophile? Yes. Did he help men have sex with underage women? Yes. Are we ever going to be able to figure it all out? No. Was it a massive global conspiracy? No. It wasn't. There are bad people who do bad things. Rarely is it a global cabal. People want to make these neat things. And again, here's what it boils down to. And I don't mean this. It aggravates me to know when to put up with this for years. And every time Pam Bondi has come out, Erickson, you're lying. Listen to her. She's been lying to you the whole time. Pam Bondi is the one who has lied to you the whole time. Pam Bondi was just going through performance art, thinking that's what Donald Trump wanted, and now she's made his administration look bad. Pam Bondi should be fired for what she did, for the gross incompetence of this, to go on Fox News and say she's got Jeffrey Epstein's list on her desk and now says there is no list. At least Dan Bongino and Kash Patel came in and said, look, we really believe this, and when we started looking at it, it turns out what we believe was wrong. They were willing to say they were wrong. They never went on television. Neither Dan Bongino nor Kash Patel inside the FBI, once they were there, went on television and lied. If anything, they've gotten blown up by former friends of theirs for telling the truth now, because they went in thinking this was so, and it turns out it's not true. Pam Bondi's the one who went on Fox News and lied and said she had all this stuff, and the lawyers were reviewing it, and it turns out they never had the stuff because it never existed. And the people who knew about the case at the time were saying Pam Bondi is lying, and they too had their character assassinated by people who insisted it must be so, and it never was. It never was. People sleep well at night thinking that there are sinister people acting in conspiratorial ways because it's easier for them to sleep at night knowing that evil is organized, because if evil is organized, there are people in charge, which means it's understandable, it's processable, and it might be easy to defeat. As opposed to there are bad people, there are predators, there are monsters, not under your bed but in the wild. And there are bad things that happen. Sometimes the river rises too fast in the middle of the night in areas with no cell phone coverage, so you can't tell them, even if you could, to get out, and they die. It's not the government's fault. It's not Donald Trump's fault. It's not global warming's fault. It happens. It has happened before. It happened in 1987. And sometimes there are predators who get people to pay them money to do bad things, and it's not some sort of organized cabal of sinister lists and government officials plotting with the CIA behind your back. It's just bad people doing bad things. And you can't sleep well at night knowing that, and so you process it in your head that it's all some sort of organized, deliberate evil, whether it's the river rising or the pedophile chain. It's got to be a conspiracy for you to sleep well at night, because otherwise there are things in this world outside your control, and you're not a victim. It's just the world is big and complex, and people hate it, and it overwhelms them, and so they process it into these conspiracies and into these failures of government and into idol worship so you can sleep well at night. And I get it. I get it. You want to sleep well at night, and it's better to think that there's the sinister cabal than evil is on the march. But friends, evil is on the march. And the best weapon you have against it is not to rely on flawed public officials, but prayer.
Those who love him, listen to find out what he's going to say next. Those who disagree with him, also listen to see what he's going to say next. It's the Erick Erickson Show.
121 Coolray Carrier WSB 24-hour traffic center. Looks like new trouble heading up into Midtown, 75-85 northbound, right under the 10th Street Bridge, exit number 250. Trying to see what lane's blocked there. We'll get eyes on that. Elsewhere, if you're traveling southbound, you're on and off the brakes from the 85-400 merge, trying to make it down to a crash off to the right just before North Avenue, and left lane construction, 75 north and Emerson, passing Old Allatoona Road. Traffic brought to you by the International Hot Rod Association. Nitro's back. The IHRA Outlaw Nitro Series is lighting up the track. Nitro Nation, grab your tickets now at IHRA.com. That's IHRA.com. Alex Williams, 95.5 WUSB.
Everyone has an opinion.
We have become an idiotic nation that doesn't know how to even debate anything, so it doesn't surprise
Eric
me.
Von Hessler has an opinion.
You will still age.
And some advice.
Start doing things when you're younger. Drink a lot of water.
Eric Von Hessler, today at 3.
And you will still die.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
It's Eric, and one of the questions I get asked all the time is, Erickson, where do I get a computer? I don't want to worry about the setup and all the tech support stuff. Y'all, you go to Vision Computers. Call them at 404-COMPUTE. Listen, when you call Vision, you're not getting stuck in a maze of hold music or menus. They answer the phone 15 seconds on average. That's right, 15 seconds. Real people, real help, real fast, right when you need it. And here's the part I love. You got an older computer, you got programs you rely on. Maybe QuickBooks or a niche software for your small business. You're afraid a new computer means losing it all or spending days doing transfers. Vision Computers got you covered. As long as your software is supported in Windows 11, they can move all your programs from your old computer to the new one efficiently, safely, and fast. It's like handing off all the hassle to someone who's an expert and knows what they're doing. So if you're thinking your old computer is fine but slowing down, maybe time for a new one. Call 404-COMPUTE today. That's 404-COMPUTE. Let Vision Computers take care of everything. You're never going to want to buy a computer another way.
Hi, this is Candace from Exovations, and have I got a tip for you. But today, instead of giving you a home remodeling tip, my tip is don't just take my word for it. For over 20 years, you've heard me on the radio sharing remodeling advice. But if you really want to know what sets Exovations apart, go read our reviews. At exovations.com, you'll find hundreds of real stories from real homeowners who have trusted us with their exterior remodeling projects. From decks, siding, windows, doors, paint, roofing, porticos, and so much more. You'll see words like amazing work, incredible experience from start to finish, and again, stress-free. That's not just what we say, it's what our customers say. So yes, I'm Candace from Exovations, but don't just listen to me. Listen to our reviews. At Exovations, we do projects on time, on budget, and without all that stress. Google Exovations or visit exovations.com.
I've found your next go-to service team for Porsche, Mercedes-Benz, BMW, Audi. It's Wolf Pen European Auto Repair in Roswell. Honest pricing with certified factory techs who won't run up the tab with repairs you don't need. See the difference when you search Wolf Pen Auto Repair.
It's your money. Get it sooner. All you need is direct deposit with a checking or savings account at Coosa Valley Credit Union. This is Andy Harris, president of Coosa Valley Credit Union. Not only can you get your money sooner, but we believe in kinder banking where you deal with real people in person. So come see us.
Summer is here, so if you're thinking about selling your home, now is the time. With Mark Spain Real Estate's guaranteed offer, you can sell your home quickly and for maximum value. Hi, it's Chris Chandler. You can skip all the hassles of a traditional home sale and sell your home quickly without the stress of showings, open houses, or costly repairs. Mark Spain Real Estate's guaranteed all-cash offer allows you to sell your home in as little as 21 days and move when you're ready. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home today and start packing.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. If you're over 50 and tired of your wireless bill getting higher and higher, there are 4 things to consider. 1, how much data are you really using? As we get older, we use less data on our wireless phone, but you're probably still paying for an unlimited plan that was designed for 20-somethings. 2, if you see "Get a phone on us," get your sneakers out and run the other way. No one is giving you a free phone. You are paying for that phone over time with an overpriced rate plan and a long-term commitment. 3, check the fine print on that $15 a month plan. It's probably an intro price that'll double or triple later. You might even have to pay for several months of service up front. Number 4, be aware of cable company wireless plans. Most of your usage will be on Wi-Fi instead of 5G, and your calls and battery life could suffer. Switch to Consumer Cellular and get the same fast, reliable nationwide service without the big wireless bill. Our plans start at just $20 a month.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Join Eric's army of activists. Text ARMY to 33777 now.
Hello there, welcome. It is Eric Erickson here across the United States. Y'all, listen, here's the Erickson rule of conspiracy theories. That's right. I occasionally have rules about these things. The Erickson rule of conspiracy theories is oftentimes people must make complicated, simple things by conjuring a conspiracy, but more often people must simplify complicated things, and they do so by making a conspiracy. The problem is that many people would not sleep well at night if they understood so much of the world is outside their control. We live in an age where you can turn your lights on from your cell phone, where you can put a ring on your finger to monitor your sleep, where you can remotely control your car and oftentimes get your car out of a garage and parked in front of your house without you in it. The world, we seem to have tamed so much of it, but there is still evil in the world, and evil doesn't follow a script. There are natural disasters in the world that the government cannot prevent, and it is just far easier for people oftentimes to believe that the world itself is controllable, understandable through some elaborate cabal or conspiracy when it's not. But you sleep better at night believing there is a conspiracy because it allows you to pretend there are events that someone controls, even if not you. But evil is evil, and it oftentimes can't be controlled. Sometimes the world can be understood very simply, but oftentimes the world is way more complex than you, with all the information in the palm of your hand on your phone, can actually process. Thus, people come to conspiracy theories. Hillsdale College actually has some great classes that help you understand and navigate the way the world works and doesn't work. You can get them for free No charge to you at erickforhillsdale.com, ERICK, erickforhillsdale.com. You go sign up with Hillsdale College, and Hillsdale College will get you one of their 40 courses. And you pick the course you want, from history to religion to literature to philosophy to math to chemistry to basic economics. You spend time with them. Each episode of the classes, their video lectures are about 30 minutes. Some of them are a total of 12 hours, some 7. It depends on the class. You go to erickforhillsdale.com today, erickforhillsdale.com. You sign up. You get a certificate of completion when you're done, and you never, ever, ever pay a penny to Hillsdale College. You don't. It's one of the geniuses of Hillsdale College is you get to see what it's like to be there. You get to take classes from their faculty. You pay no penny. erickforhillsdale.com. Sign up today with Hillsdale College. Start your relationship with them. It's worth it.
The Scott Antique Markets is back at the Atlanta Expo Center, featuring hundreds of vendors with collectibles and merchandise from all over the world. We're on both sides of I-285 exit 55 on Jonesboro Road. Visit scottantiquemarket.com for more information.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather, traffic. 95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It's 1:30. Good afternoon. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news sponsored by Ben Hill Renovation. A mistrial has been declared for one of the defendants facing charges in a racketeering case tied to protests about the Atlanta Public Safety Training Center. Isla King, accused of trespassing on the property back in March of 2024, while King was granted a request for a speedy trial scheduled to start today. The judge, Kevin Farmer, has informed the jury of a mistrial. A new trial will be set for King with a new jury pool. Your weather for today, partly cloudy and hot. Afternoon highs 94, says WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. From the Georgia Department of Public Safety this afternoon, the holiday period from July 3rd through the 6th, there were 433 DUIs handed out, a total of 610 distracted driver citations, and there were 203 crashes. 7 of those were fatal crashes. The death toll from the Texas floods now at least 89. Kerrville, Texas City Manager Dalton Rice among the officials at a news conference earlier today, updating the latest on the search for victims.
Will continue today from Hunt in North Kerr County all the way to Canyon Lake in Comal County.
And President Trump saying he plans to go to Texas later this week. Duluth police warning residents there about a rise in stolen checks from the mailbox. Investigators saying those checks are being altered or washed and then cashed. That's costing victims thousands of dollars. Police say whenever possible, you want to avoid mailing checks and use online options instead. If you notice suspicious activity, you are urged to report that to your bank. Let's take a look at the markets. The Dow's down 439 at 44,389. So the Dow's down almost a full percent. NASDAQ and S&P not far behind. It's 132.
A great way to add value to your home is to improve and upgrade your kitchen, but you're worried about the cost because of tariffs raising everybody's costs on things like this. Y'all, it's Eric. You can go to Frugal Kitchens. You'll get that $1 million look for well under that price. And right now, if you book an appointment, you'll get the Frugal Price Lock, where they will lock in pre-tariff pricing. Google Frugal Kitchens today. Lock in pre-tariff pricing on your redesign of your kitchen. Google Frugal Kitchens.
The Scott Antique Markets is back at the Atlanta Expo Center, featuring hundreds of vendors with collectibles and merchandise from all over the world. We're on both sides of I-285 exit 55 on Jonesboro Road. Visit scottantiquemarket.com for more information.
Monica Pearson for Superior Plumbing. Did you know the water pressure regulator is the heartbeat of every home? It can affect all things in your plumbing system, and when it's not regulated, it is the main cause of most plumbing problems. They only last about 8 years. Have Superior Plumbing check yours.
Hey, y'all, it's Eric Erickson here. Do you know the difference between strategy and tactics? As somebody ran campaigns, I always find people sometimes they engage in tactics. We steer the ship left and then right, starboard, port, left, right, slow down, speed up. But do you make sense of it? The strategy is the overall picture of how you want to accomplish your goal. And then the tactics are the individual things you do to accomplish the strategy to meet your goal. And when you're dealing with your retirement, you need a financial advisor who understands that. That's David Nicholas, Nicholas Wealth Management. My wife and I actually sat down with David and mapped out our goals for the future and our retirement and realized that we had engaged in a series of tactics, but we really didn't have a comprehensive overall strategy that made it work. You want a comprehensive overall strategy so that when you hit retirement, well, you've met your goals. And David Nicholas can help you do that. You sit down with David today, and he can give you a free wealth analysis. Christy and I did this with him. You can do this with him. and you're going to get a strategy. You're not just going to have a financial advisor who's deploying a bunch of tactics without the overall strategy to get you to meet your goal. Talk to David and his team at nicholaswealth.com. Call them at 678-990-8500. That's 678-990-8500 or nicholaswealth.com.
Nicholas Wealth Management is an independent financial services firm and uses a variety of different investment strategies. This is prepared for informational purposes only. It does not address specific investment objectives or the financial situation and particular needs of any person who listens to this show. Eric Erickson is a current client and is paid for this ad.
Great time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather. Alex Williams joining us from the WSB 24-hour traffic center.
Found that crash in Midtown, Sabrina. It's in the center lane, 7585 northbound, right under the 10th Street Bridge, exit number 250 there. You're slowing back before I-20. If you're traveling 85 south toward the airport, looks like new trouble just south of the Sylvan Road area. We're going to scan the jam cam for that. And red alert in Butts County, all lanes shut down. Bad crash, 75 northbound, Highway 16, exit 205. Traffic being diverted there. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
This is WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Partly cloudy and hot through this afternoon, high 94, lows tonight in the mid-70s. Tomorrow, an isolated pop-up shower possible, otherwise partly cloudy, high 93. A few pop-up showers and thunderstorms on Wednesday, high 92.
91 degrees in Midtown. More news, 2 o'clock. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
Hello and welcome. It is Eric Erickson here nationwide. The phone number is 877-973-7425. Should you wish to be on the program, thank you for being patient with me today. There's been so much stuff to get through. I want to go to the phones now. I want to take Pamela's phone call. Welcome to the show, Pamela. How are you?
Hi, Eric. Good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, hold on. I took you off speakerphone. I was holding for you. Here, I wanted to answer a question after I mentioned something. I was reading, was it Sunday? I've been keeping up with this Texas flooding, and back in 1987, there were 10 teenagers that died because that Guadalupe River in Texas flooded. Mm-hmm. And I guess I was questioning something. Those cabins I read were built 500 feet from that river. Mm-hmm. They should have been up on a hill. I don't know that they had, they were able to maybe put that many cabins up a hill because that water would run off and would have saved, a lot of those children. But since that time in 1987, I wondered how many parents sued. I don't know that necessarily it was the Camp Mystic or any of the other camps the kids were rescued from, but if parents sued because of that situation as well, I guess our son died at a camp in North Carolina, and it was a tragic situation 10 years ago. They found the camp responsible for negligence in his death. And a lot of these camps you don't realize, although this was a Christian camp, I know, and it really makes no difference because if they know that this has happened before, and by the way, the camp that our son died at in North Carolina, a 12-year-old child died at last autumn, year before last, and they closed him down 10 years later. But had they done the right thing when our child died at that camp before, and there were a lot of people who were journalists spoke against that camp, and we found out details about the camp that they had misled parents on in joining this summer camp. In this camp, it's tragic, and as well have led parents and others about class action lawsuit against the camp. It's now closed, and against the corporation that owns the camps in North Carolina, as well as camps over in Utah, etc. 2 girls at their camp, this just happened 2 months ago, committed suicide. And this was up in Asheville, North Carolina.
Yeah, Pamela, and for those who don't know what Pam was talking about, in 1987, there was another flash flood and 10 girls died at a camp. I don't know that the setups are the same, what precautions were taken. I know there was another camp in Texas, in Kirk County, and they evacuated girls from the camp because they were worried about what the weather forecast was already showing. And they didn't wait around for emergency management to tell them. The tragedy at Camp Mystic is that the youngest girls were closest to the river. The older girls were set back. And I don't know what the setup is going to be here, but I feel like I need to explain this for people because many of my audience are east of the Mississippi River. And so I probably need to explain this one to you guys. If you go out to Kerr County, you go out to Texas, where I am, for example, the nature of the soil is in the erosion. It goes down. It does not. It is not wide erosion. It's deep erosion. So, for example, when a flash flood comes through, the gullies and the rivers tend to be deeper, and so it takes more time for the water to rise. In Texas and out west in the desert, wadis in the desert overseas and in the Middle East and things like that, the erosion is wider than it is deeper. So the sand washes away much more quickly with the width of the river instead of the depth of the river. So when the water comes through, it doesn't have high riverbanks. The Guadalupe River in that area is not a deep river, it's wide. And if you watch the videos, and there are some incredible videos, some from the day, some from the night, as the water comes down, it rushes. The water is coming in minutes. It's not coming in hours. I have a river outside my office. We have gotten here before record hourly rainfall, and the river rose rapidly in an hour, and still, because of the nature of the river and also the levees, it rose high before it spread out wide and spilled over the banks. The Guadalupe River is not, you don't have a system of levees, and you don't have a deep, deep canyon where the river's flowing in parts. It's very wide because it's more of a creek. You and I in the east of the Mississippi would call it a creek more than a river. But it becomes a raging torrent as it rains. And this happened at 1 and 2 o'clock in the morning. And y'all, I tend to get emotional about this stuff because I've got kids. I have to tell you, the most disturbing video that I saw is in the middle of the night. One of the camps, one of the houses, is going down the river. And there's a man at the door with a flashlight, flashlighting SOS, and you can hear the children in the cabin screaming. You can hear the kids. They're in the cabin, and they're screaming for their lives as this portable building floats down the river. There are cars in the river, and you can hear the horns blowing. You can hear people blowing the horns. They're floating down the river, and people are blowing the horns, and then they're quiet because they've drowned. There was nothing the government can do. Many of these people were in parts of that community where there were no cell phone towers. The sirens, the tornado sirens that they fire, those are for people outside, not inside. We, a few months ago, had a tornado come over our home at 5 o'clock in the morning. The sirens were on outside. We never heard them. We were asleep. It was the cell phones that woke us up. The National Weather Service alerts on our phones woke us up. The whole house woke up. I've never been in a tornado before. You know, I've said this before, and I'll say this humor with a bit of humor now, and cut some of the tension here in this. But I literally, my entire life, had heard people tell me that a tornado sounded like a train. And my entire life, I'm not joking with you. You can laugh at me for it. I'm willing to laugh at myself for it. But everyone as a kid, what do you learn that a train says? Chugga, chugga, choo-choo. And I just thought you'd hear this train whistle sound. No. You hear this rumbling like off in a distant train. Whoa, 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 whoa. We hear the sound. It is pouring down rain, and then the rain stops. And you hear this whoa, 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 whoa. And the wind starts. And then the rain starts coming. We have windows are well sealed, and the rain starts coming through the windows. And my wife said, that's the tornado. Near in the middle of the night, the clouds gets kind of a greenish hue. Scared the mess out of me. Now, it went over the house. It landed in the county over, but that sound, first the rain completely stops, and you just hear the sound. The National Weather Service issued the alert. We woke up. By the way, post Doge cuts, I should note. But we woke up because we got the alerts. But when you're in the middle of Nowheresville, Texas, and there are no cell towers, the tornado siren's not going to wake you up in the house. They're not designed to wake you up in the house. You have no cell alerts. What could the county have done? The river rose in minutes. In minutes. You can watch the overnight security camera footage yourself. You can see the river rising in minutes. There was no time to get people out there with megaphones saying, get out. It was too late. There was one camp that was profiled. They expected really bad storms. They knew about the flooding condition. They were on higher ground, and they moved their kids. They had some damage, but they were proactive. They didn't wait for the National Weather Service at 1 a.m. to issue an evacuation order, and they said in the report, we don't even have cell phones in our area. The government's not to blame. The National Weather Service is not to blame. A tragedy happened. A tragedy happened, and sometimes there's no blame for a tragedy. It's just bad things happen. And watching that water rise, y'all, for those of us on the East Coast, who our rivers tend to not rise like this. It looks you've seen videos of where a dam bursts. That's what it looks like, except it wasn't a dam burst. It was the clouds bursting open and pouring more water into that river. And this is the statistic that blows my mind. More water was dumped into that river and flowed down that river than is consumed by Americans across the country in a year. I saw that number this morning. I have to even now think, I've told you this can't be true, but I've now seen this reported in multiple legitimate sources that if you want the perspective of the amount of water that was funneled into that river from the various storms overnight, because it was dislocated, very heavy downpours, that is the statistic that more water flowed through that region over the last few days than is consumed by Americans in a year. That's a staggering amount of water. The government couldn't save people from that. All right, Matt, you're going to be up next. Welcome to the show, Matt. How are you?
Better than I deserve, Eric.
Good for you. I'm doing well.
Boy,
Thanks
it's
for calling.
hard to follow that up. That was pretty deep there for a minute.
Well, yeah, I'm glad you're here to rescue me from it.
Yeah, I don't know that I'm much better. I don't know if I'm a rescue or not. We just went through the Swannanoa, North Carolina deal right here, and that whole show. So I live right there on that edge of the North Carolina line. But in regards to this whole Diddy thing and the Maxwell thing and the pedophile ring and all of that, the deal is this. Just like any good movie or any good plot or any good science fiction, whether fiction or not story, there has to be accountability. Somebody's going to have to take the fall for this stuff. And what the American people are seeing is, it's like this. It's like you or I. We have children. You know, if something happened to our children unexplained, we couldn't find them. We'd be searching for the rest of our lives to find out that mystery. And, you know, there's people that have children that are lost to these people and they never hear from them again. Now, you got things that don't add up. Why you'd have a picture of Bill Clinton in the Epstein house and, you know, stuff like that. But what it boils down to is, the children weren't getting trafficked to nobody. Maxwell's in prison because she was trafficking children to someone. And the American people are looking at it saying, we have to have, there may not be a list of, you know, top 500 or whatever or anything like that, but surely there's a couple people that were involved in this. And as of right now, all we're seeing is Diddy's getting a slap on the wrist and he's gone, no problem. I mean, look what he did to Justin Bieber, poor kid. But the fact is, there's no accountability. It's like you see these things going on. You see, you know, like I said, a picture of Bill, and you know he's tied to the island. You got Ghislaine in prison. She's not in prison for fun. She's there because obviously she was one of the largest, most prolific pedophile traffickers of all time.
Well, now hang on a second, Matt. Hang on. Just to keep perspective here, is part of the reason that a lot of the evidence hasn't come out in Epstein is because Ghislaine Maxwell is on trial and she's on appeal before further litigation happens. And so we're going to get some more information that comes out about Maxwell. Sure. And we'll get information that comes out about Epstein. But you know, you mentioned the Bieber P. Diddy thing. So how do you know about that?
Well, what it is you get videos on obviously on the phone and stuff like that, and I'm on the double-edged sword with you on the media thing. Trust half of what you see. You can't really trust it either way, whether it's mainstream media or on the cell phone.
So my point is, you bring that one up, and that's been well circulated by a lot of people online. Lots of speculation. There have been lots of video calls over time, or lots of videos over time of speculation, but Justin Bieber's never said anything. P. Diddy's never said anything. There's been a rumor mill, and the rumors have taken on a life of their own. Maybe there was some sort of inappropriate relation. Maybe there was. If I'm honest, I kind of think maybe something happened. We know, for example, there was one singer who said he would never leave his kids with P. Diddy because when he was growing up, his parents left him with P. Diddy, and he won't even begin to talk about the stuff that happened. Lots of rumors. But there's no proof. We just presume. We take the bits and pieces in our heads and we work them, but we don't know. And then when it turns out there's nothing, we say there's got to be something. There's got to be something because I saw all this stuff on the internet. I heard all these stories from other people that were never debunked. But you heard it from people on the internet. And so you presumed. And that's the problem here, is a lot of the things that we believe because somebody said something on the internet. But was it actually true? We don't know. In fact, what we're learning is that a lot of the stuff we believed about Jeffrey Epstein, they're now saying was never true. And in fact, here's the thing. If you ever read any of the reports from the investigative journalists who pursued this, who were threatened by powerful people and their lawyers, they say, yeah, there were people. Bill Gates' name has come up. Bill Clinton's name has come up. Donald Trump's name has come up. But also what was happening was that Jeffrey Epstein was curating wealthy people for his own advantage. And many of the people that you saw with Jeffrey Epstein, you saw because Jeffrey Epstein was trying to use those people to get to other people and not necessarily trafficking children to those people. And then in some cases, there are wealthy people who sign non-disclosure agreements with young women who possibly they had untoward relationships with. But a lot of what you and I know, we read on the internet or we heard, not guaranteeing it was true. That's the problem. Now, look, we've got banks out there in turmoil now. The president is saying he's going to increase tariffs on Japan and South Korea. The markets are nosediving as a result of his announcement. We don't know what interest rates are going to do. We'll find out next week. Swiss America has been warning people about the secret war on cash and an assault on our freedoms. They would like to help you protect your hard-earned cash now. You can get their report, The Secret War on Cash, completely free by calling or texting 800-289-2646. The all-out war on cash includes digital forms of currency. It is spreading. The Secret War on Cash report is completely free. It takes less than 15 minutes to read. All you have to do is mention me, Eric, when you call or text 800-289-2646. All you have to do is text my name, Eric, E-R-I-C-K, to 800-289-2646. That's 800-289-2646, or you can go to SwissAmerica.com/Eric, SwissAmerica.com/ERICK, or just call or text my name, Eric, to 800-289-2646. Get their report, The Secret War on Cash, completely for free. Message and data rates may apply.
When the truth seems hazy, Eric will clear the way. It's the Eric Erickson Show.
152, Cool Day Carrier, WSB 24-hour traffic center. Better news in Midtown. Crash moved all to the right. All lanes back open. 75-85 northbound at 10th Street, exit 250. Lingering delays back toward I-20. Southbound on and off the brake pedal as well from the 85-400 merge trying to get into downtown. And we still have right lane construction. 85 northbound Steve Reynolds Boulevard, exit 103. Traffic brought to you by 2025 FIFA World Club World Cup. The 2025 FIFA Club World Cup is coming to Atlanta. Get ready for a global soccer showdown at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Don't just watch history, be there. Get tickets at FIFA.com/tickets. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
Is your summer vacation going to be a week at the beach or a week in the backyard standing in the kiddie pool?
If you listen to 95.5 WSB, that week at the beach could be yours. It's $1,000 Thursdays on WSB.
Your chance to win $1,000 every hour between 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. on Thursdays.
Listen for the keyword. Enter the keyword at WSBradio.com or on the WSB app with within that hour.
Get all the info at WSBRadio.com.
$1,000 Thursdays this Thursday.
From 95.5 WSB.
Where Atlanta wins.
It's July, and that means pool days, summer celebrations, and of course, heat. Georgia heat is brutal. Don't let your home be a sauna. Coolray has the perfect solution to keep you cool this summer. Coolray is offering you $2,250 in rebates and free attic insulation when you purchase your new complete Carrier system. You know, proper insulation is like a sidekick for your HVAC, keeping cool air in and hot air out. Call or go online to Coolray.com to book your appointment today. Coolray and Carrier. Turn to the experts.
Hi, this is Candace from Exovations, and have I got a tip for you? But today, instead of giving you a home remodeling tip, my tip is don't just take my word for it. For over 20 years, you've heard me on the radio sharing remodeling advice. But if you really want to know what sets Exovations apart, go read our reviews. At exovations.com, you'll find hundreds of real stories from real homeowners who have trusted us with their exterior remodeling projects. From decks, siding, windows, doors, paint, roofing, porticos, and so much more. You'll see words like amazing work, incredible experience from start to finish, and again, stress-free. That's not just what we say, it's what our customers say. So yes, I'm Candace from Exovations, but don't just listen to me. Listen to our reviews. At Exovations, we do projects on time, on budget, and without all that stress. Google Exovations or visit EXOVATIONS.com.
This is Jonathan Geller at D. Geller & Son Jewelers, and I'm so excited to invite you to our designer pop-up event July 19th and 20th. Come see extended lines of engagement rings, wedding bands, plus brand new wedding day and fashion jewelry from the top designers in the industry, like Tacori's signature crescent designs that give your ring a personal artisan touch. So don't just look for a ring, find the perfect ring at D. Geller & Son's designer pop-up event July 19th and 20th in Kennesaw and Sandy Springs. RSVP online at dgeller.com.
WSB Atlanta, WSBB FM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's news and talk.
Men, trouble in the bedroom? Not anymore. Priority Men's Medical Center restores your love life in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Priority Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Priority Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. You'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients get their testosterone checked free. Call 404-885-8885. 404-885-8885. To restore your love life in just one visit, call now. 404-885-8885.
All the news, weather, and traffic you need. 95.5 WSB.
Hello there, welcome. It is Eric Erickson here. The phone number 877-973-7425. Should you wish to be on the program, I'm just baffled by this Tucker Carlson interview with Iran's president. I don't fault him for giving an interview with anybody, but it's just so interesting how Tucker Carlson aggressively pushed back on Ted Cruz and not on the president of Iran. When Tucker Carlson interviewed Ted Cruz, he mocked him for not knowing the population of Iran. With the Iranian president, he asks if Iran has ever killed Americans. The Iranian president says no, and Tucker Carlson doesn't even mention the Marine barracks in 1983 in Lebanon that Iran even took credit for. 241 American Marines died in the attack, and not to mention all the other terrorist attacks funded by Iran over the years. What is going on with Carlson? There was the Vladimir Putin interview, the fawning over the grocery stores in Russia, and now this interview. Is he just cynically like preying on people's emotion? I have no idea. Does he really believe the United States is the bad guy in the world? I mean, between the Nazi historian and this, just wild times with Tucker Carlson. Y'all, there's a way for you to beat tariffs and still get that new kitchen you want. You Google Frugal Kitchens. Right now, you book an appointment with Frugal Kitchens. They're going to give you the Frugal Price Lock, where you're going to be able to get your kitchen remodeled with Frugal Kitchens for a great price with $1 million look, and you'll lock in pre-tariff pricing. Google Frugal Kitchens today, book your appointment this month, and you'll save big and increase the value of your home with that kitchen you've been wanting. Google Frugal Kitchens today.
What is All Care? All Care is expert urgent care and primary care under a single roof, offering convenience and continuity for your healthcare needs. All Care is a team of physicians and clinicians who know you and your medical history, so they can provide the personalized care you deserve. And with both family and immediate care services offered 7 days a week, All Care means seeing your doctor on your schedule. 15 convenient locations, same-day appointments, and walk-ins welcome. Remember, urgent care plus primary care equals All Care. Learn more at allcare-ga.com.
More local news.
An employee at a Walmart in Covington is in custody. Atlanta companies already warning of turbulence in the economy.
More traffic.
One crash on I-20 westbound.
40 minutes to head up the connector.
More weather.
We may be seeing this tornado strengthening.
Atlanta's morning news.
Tomorrow morning at 5.
Newton County authorities crediting the Georgia State Patrol.
Wake up with 95.5 WSB. How Atlanta starts its day.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Good afternoon. It's 2 o'clock. I'm Veronica Waters. The news this hour is brought to you by Bread Beckers. WSB's top local story citing dangerous heat. The city of Atlanta announces new plans to close the homeless encampment on Old Wheat Street. That's where Cornelius Taylor was run over in his tent by a public works truck in January. Catherine Vassell is with a nonprofit Partners for Home and says everyone at that camp is being offered housing for at least a year, along with a caseworker and a life skills coach.
The upcoming new tenants will have their rooms fully equipped with kitchenette tools, hygiene kits, cleaning supplies, linens, etc.
She says they're hoping to have everyone placed even before the clear out Thursday morning. Some 500 beds are available. It's 92 degrees now in Midtown Atlanta. WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards is calling for partly cloudy skies today and highs in the mid-90s. Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast is coming up. The start of what was expected to be Georgia's largest ever racketeering trial ends in a mistrial for Stop Cop City protester Isla King this morning. Fulton County Superior Court Judge Kevin Farmer notes the Court of Appeals ruled it was a violation to bar the media from jury selection. The court plans to pick a new jury to re-begin her trial likely this fall. Austell residents give their opinions on a large property tax hike in a public hearing today. It's one of 3 in all before the city council votes on that increase.
Austell Mayor Ollie Clemens has told residents the city's been running at a deficit for years, and that's why officials are proposing what amounts to a 158% property tax increase. A similar measure failed last year, and this resident says it should this year as well.
Now you're asking us to bail you out. We say again, no, you caused this. Fix it.
Mayor Clemens says he believes the $3 million revenue boost would help move the city away from what he calls a crisis mode for the government. Lisa Nicholas, 95.5 WSB.
Duluth police warn residents about a rise in stolen checks from the mail. Investigators say the checks are being washed and then cashed, costing victims thousands of dollars. Police say whenever possible, avoid mailing checks and use online options instead. A man is dead after opening fire at a Border Patrol facility in South Texas. McAllen Police Chief Victor Rodriguez says this was an ambush.
Border Patrol agents returned fire and subsequently neutralized, that is, killed the person that had opened fire upon that building.
He says no federal agents were hurt. One local policeman was hit in the knee by either a bullet or a bullet fragment. The gunman identified as Michigan man Ryan Mosqueda. He arrived at the facility in a car with Michigan license plates, and on the side were spray painted some words, but the chief did not elaborate on what those were. It's 2:02. Live team coverage of traffic and weather next.
Hi, I'm Dustin, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company. If you're shopping for an engagement ring, we want you to feel like a kid in a candy store. All of our diamonds are in stock, in-store and online, so you get to use your eyes, not your imagination. Come in and look at marquee-shaped diamonds right next to ovals and pears. As your friend and jeweler, you can trust you'll get your dream diamond at an everyday competitive price. We have the widest selection in-store and at shaneco.com, because a friend knows choosing a diamond is personal. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Hey, y'all, it's Eric Erickson here. Do you know the difference between strategy and tactics? As somebody who ran campaigns, I always find people sometimes they engage in tactics. We steer the ship left and then right, starboard, port, left, right, slow down, speed up. But do you make sense of it? The strategy is the overall picture of how you want to accomplish your goal. And then the tactics are the individual things you do to accomplish the strategy to meet your goal. And when you're dealing with your retirement, you need a financial advisor who understands that. That's David Nicholas, Nicholas Wealth Management. My wife and I actually sat down with David and mapped out our goals for the future and our retirement and realized that we had engaged in a series of tactics, but we really didn't have a comprehensive overall strategy that made it work. You want a comprehensive overall strategy so that when you hit retirement, well, you've met your goals. And David Nicholas can help you do that. You sit down with David today, and he can give you a free wealth analysis. Christy and I did this with him. You can do this with him, and you're going to get a strategy. You're not just going to have a financial advisor who's deploying a bunch of tactics without the overall strategy to get you to meet your goal. Talk to David and his team at nicholaswealth.com. Call them at 678-990-8500. That's 678-990-8500 or nicholaswealth.com.
Nicholas Wealth Management is an independent financial services firm and uses a variety of different investment strategies. This is prepared for informational purposes only. It does not address specific investment objectives or the financial situation and particular needs of any person who listens to the show. Eric Erickson is a current client and is paid for this ad.
2:05 live team coverage of traffic and weather begins right now. Good afternoon to Alex Williams in the WSB 24-hour traffic center.
Hey, good afternoon, Veronica. Slow through Duluth due to a crash. 85 southbound Indian Trail Road, exit 101. It's in the second left lane. Stacking up that ride as you leave Highway 316. Crash down by the airport should have just been moved off to the right, I believe. 85 southbound Virginia Avenue, exit 73. Brake lights back to Cleveland Avenue should start to improve. And 75 northbound, little sluggish up through Marietta into Kennesaw from North Marietta Parkway up to Chastain Road, exit 271. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Partly cloudy and hot today, high 94, lows tonight in the mid-70s. Tomorrow, a mix of sun and clouds along with an isolated pop-up shower, high 93. A few pop-up storms on Wednesday, high 92.
Right now, we're looking at 91 degrees in Powder Springs. It's 91 in Sandy Springs, and in Midtown Atlanta, 93 degrees under partly cloudy skies at 2:06. More news coming up at 2:30 and breaking news when it happens. I'm Veronica Waters, 95.5 WSB.
Greetings, conversationalists. Welcome. It is Eric Erickson here across the nation. The phone number is 877-973-7425. Should you wish to be on the program as we discuss Elon Musk's America Party. I got thoughts, as you can imagine. I was doing a radio hit on my flagship station, WSB in Atlanta, this morning with my buddy Mark Aram, and he said, could he come up with a better name, the America Party? Really? He started something called the America PAC, and so now he's doing America Party. Really? I mean, there are a lot of political parties out there, and if he was smart, and by the way, I want to say up front that Elon Musk is obviously a smart person. But you can be smart in one thing and dumb in other things. And Elon Musk is pretty dumb when it comes to politics. So there are a lot of parties in the United States. Some have ballot access and some don't. In Alabama, only the Democratic and Republican parties have ballot access. That is, you can, without any effort, you can get on the ballot. You don't have to do other stuff. Alabama only allows the Democratic and Republican Party. The Libertarian Party tends to have access in most states. Georgia, where I am, only has the Democratic and Republican parties, and it's based on the percentage of the vote the parties have gotten. And because the Libertarian Party is flamed out in Georgia, it lost its ballot access. And every state the Democrats and Republicans have access to, and some states, most states the Libertarian Party has access to. It has access to most other states, and the Libertarians allegedly reached out to try to get ballot access or to try to help Elon Musk, and kind of it fell apart. Ballot access. Let me just put it this way. Democrats and Republicans hate each other. The one thing Democrats and Republicans hate more than each other is third parties. The Democrats for years hoped that by elevating the Libertarian Party, they could hurt Republicans. And the Republicans for years have thought by elevating the Green Party, they could hurt Democrats. And to a degree, it's worked at times. But generally, both parties collaborate to deny ballot access to other parties. In some states, let me explain to you the rules in some states for ballot access. You have to have individuals in a county who are residents of the county volunteer to collect signatures. Think about that. You want to get on a party, you want to get on the ballot in a state, you got to do signatures, percentage based on the registered voters in each county. You have to collect a percentage of the names of people in each county, verify those people are residents and voters of the county, and you can't use paid people to do it. You got to use volunteers. They make it really hard. Elon Musk wants to go through that process now. There are a couple of problems with this. And by the way, I don't actually think that Elon Musk per se will hurt Republicans in some places. I think he could hurt Democrats if he were to get ballot access, because Elon Musk, he's not really a social conservative. He's a libertarian on social stuff. I mean, Elon Musk on drug policy. I mean, the guy does drugs. Allegedly. I just think he's going to have a hard time getting it up, and I think that the consultants are going to make a lot of money. So I am familiar, for example, with some of Elon Musk's get out the vote efforts, and he hired a friend of mine out west to do some voter drives and get out the vote efforts. And the buddy who I know, I'll leave names out of this, but he wasn't hitting the metric that Elon Musk wanted. He wasn't getting enough names. Now, here's what I know about this guy. He doesn't go out and just get you names. He goes out and targets people who are not only registered voters, but have actually voted. And his thinking and his methodology, and he's highly successful at getting people out to vote, is if you are registered to vote, you can be registered to vote just getting your driver's license. So have you actually registered to vote and voted? And those are the people he likes to turn out. Well, a competitor went to Elon Musk and said, hey, by the way, this guy's not good at turning out large numbers of people. We'll do it. And Elon Musk fired the guy who regularly gets out voters and hired the people who were the grifters from Washington, and they didn't do what my friend is able to do. But there are lots of grifters in politics in the consultant class who promise rich people lots of money. H. Ross Perot micromanaged the Reform Party, was able to get it and get himself on the ballot and disrupt an election in 1992. And what happened to the Reform Party after Ross Perot? Collapsed. And there's a difference. The Reform Party, funded by Ross Perot in 1995, never really helped him. You remember, Ross Perot ran as an independent in 1992, and he got 18.9% of the popular vote. And then he started the Reform Party and only got 8.4% of the popular vote in 96. And then it collapsed. It doesn't have ballot access in a lot of places anymore. The Reform Party, let's see, did it even put up a candidate? Yeah, it put up Robert F. Kennedy co-opted it, and then he dropped out. In 2020, Rocky de la Fuentes, I don't even know who that is. In 2020 and 2016, Andre Barnett from New York in 2012, Ted Well from the Wheel from Mississippi in 2008. I don't even know who these people are. It was Ross Perot in 96 and Pat Buchanan in 2000 and Ralph Nader in 2004. They were just trying to find a candidate to maintain ballot access, and they barely got it. The states, the active state affiliates of the Reform Party are California, Montana, New Jersey, North Carolina, New York, Tennessee, Texas, Virginia, Wisconsin, Florida. Just a complete collapse. And then there's no labels in 2024. A well-funded operation to try to get on the ballot, and they didn't make significant ballot access. They never even tried in a number of states. In the majority of states, they never made it on the ballot. They got 18 total states. That's it. And then gave up. Good luck, Elon Musk. Here's the thing. If Elon Musk says he wants to do what he says he wants to do, is committed to the values he claims he's committed to actually reduce the size and scope of the federal government, why don't you play in Republican primaries, Elon? Find candidates. Find candidates. I suspect his desire for a third party is actually a recognition that the Republican Party is Donald Trump's party, and if Elon Musk goes head-to-head against Donald Trump in Republican primaries, Elon Musk probably loses. So he wants to do his own thing. Who are you going to get? What sort of candidates are you going to get? And here's the problem. H. Ross Perot formed the Reform Party after his unsuccessful but well-funded, and he almost got 20% of the vote in 1992. He went on to get 8.6% of the vote with the Reform Party, and H. Ross Perot could run for president of the United States. Elon Musk is wanting to form an American political party, and Elon Musk is not eligible to even be president of the United States because the Constitution of the United States of America requires that to be president, you be born in the United States, or at least you be born an American citizen. John McCain was born outside the country, but his parents were American citizens. He was born on a military installation, I guess, in Panama, was it, I think? So you can be born outside of the country, but you got to be an American citizen at birth, and Elon Musk is not. So Elon Musk will never be president of the United States, short of getting 2/3 of the Congress and 3/4 of the states to agree to amend the Constitution, which isn't going to happen for Elon Musk. So he wants to do a third party. What's it going to stand for? A third party to be successful, and there aren't any successful third parties. The Libertarians come closest, and when's the last time a Libertarian got elected statewide anywhere? Libertarians don't. Libertarians serve as spoilers. That's it. And even then, don't spoil very much. The Libertarian Party, and no offense to you who are in the Libertarian Party, but you know your party's become a party of quacks and cranks, Wiccans and prostitutes and drug dealers. That's the Libertarian Party of America. It's the Libertine Party. As long as they can have a good time, they don't really care about the size and scope of the government anymore, unlike the old Libertarian Party. So, Elon, what does your party stand for besides Elon Musk? And will you, if a candidate runs for the America Party, support that candidate, even if that candidate might disagree with you on stuff? Will you fund the party? Or is this a Elon Musk vanity project? Here's what actually happened. A man who can send people into outer space and safely return them and put you in a car that can drive itself decided that because he was smart about those things, he's smart about other things. And the things Elon Musk decided he was smart about, he's not very smart about. Friends, I can successfully run candidates for office. I couldn't build a car or put people on the moon. Elon Musk can put people on the moon and build a car. He can't put people in office. Elon Musk has it in his head that but for him, Donald Trump would not gotten elected, and the data begs to differ with him. But he's surrounded by sycophants and yes men who told him it was him. He had many Republicans who wanted his money who told it was him. And Elon Musk, who challenges his scientists to make sure lives are saved in rocket ships, made the mistake of believing the people in politics who wanted his money. So now Elon Musk is convinced he knows politics. But what did Elon Musk actually do? He went to Washington, D.C., He overpromised and underdelivered on Doge savings. He promised trillions in savings. He got maybe $100 billion if the rescission package goes through. He doesn't understand Washington. He doesn't understand politics. And the hardest thing in American politics is to surround yourself with people who understand it and aren't trying to take advantage of you, who understand it and aren't going to bleed you dry. And here's the problem, is those people are already committed to the Republican Party or the Democratic Party. The people Elon Musk wants to handle the America Party are people who have been driven out of the politics of the Republican or the Democratic Party, oftentimes for cause, oftentimes for incompetence. So if he wants to hire people to help him build the party, he's not going to be hiring the best people because the best people have already been hired by the Democrats and Republicans, and their brand loyalty is to the existing parties, not to a new party. So he's going to have to go find new people. And where do you find those new people? Well, the people Elon Musk already found to guide him in politics, what do? They weren't very successful at guiding him in politics, and they wound up hurting his businesses because he's so tied to Tesla and SpaceX. Now he's got a president of the United States mad at him. He's got the Democrats mad at him. Republicans who went out and bought Teslas are all putting them up for sale now because they went to support Elon, and now they think that he's a traitor to Donald Trump. He's just played his hand poorly. I wish somebody could do an intervention with him and say, Elon, listen, You what you're saying you want is your third party. That's a conservative Republican, small government Republican. Why don't you go fund Thomas Massie? Why don't you fund Chip Roy? Why don't you fund the House Freedom Caucus? Why don't you get those guys to know that behind the scenes they're going to have somebody stand up for them? And instead of them risking the wrath of Donald Trump, there will be people who have their back. Why don't you go do that instead of funding a third party where you're going to waste your money and probably not get on the ballot in half the states? Instead, why don't you go work within the existing parties? Within the Democratic Party, find moderate Democrats. In the Republican Party, find conservative small government Republicans. Do what other people have done successfully, as opposed to doing something new and different in an area where you have shown you don't have the expertise. What you have is a gullibility to get played by consultants who want your money. But he's not going to take that advice because Elon Musk has decided he's the smartest guy in the room. And the smartest guys in the room are always the ones who spend the most to make the most mistakes.
Follow Eric on X, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Rumble. Search EW Erickson.
220 Cool-Ray Carrier, WSB 24-hour traffic center. All lanes temporarily being held into Norcross, 85 southbound Indian Trail Road, exit 101. They're getting a crash off to the right. Northbound, there's a crash in the HOT lane, 85 north before Indian Trail, slowing you leaving 285. And a new left lane crash, I-20 eastbound past Riverside Parkway, exit 46. Traffic brought to you by Blindster.com. Blindster.com's 4th of July sale is your chance to save up to 50% site-wide on custom blinds, shades, and shutters. This deal ends July 9th. Shop Blindster.com today. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
What would you do with $1,000 this summer?
Hotel, pool, week at the beach, cabin in the woods.
Whatever you want to do this summer,
WSB has $1,000 to make it happen.
$1,000 Thursdays gives you the chance to win $1,000 every hour between 9 a.m. and 4 p.m.
Listen for the keyword at 9, 10, and 11 a.m. and 12, 1, 2, and 3 p.m.
Enter the keyword at WSBradio.com or on the WSB app. Within that hour,
You could win $1,000. Get all the info at WSBradio.com.
$1,000 Thursdays this Thursday.
95.5 WSB, where Atlanta wins.
This is Scott Slade. Nothing takes the place of time when it comes to spotting problems with your health, especially trouble with your heart. The earlier, the better. That's where virtual imaging comes in. Virtual imaging's heart scan can be invaluable, giving you more time for you and your loved ones to take charge of your health. They can detect calcium levels in your arteries early with the best CT imaging in the Southeast and with 98% accuracy. To encourage you to take action now, for a limited time, Virtual Imaging is offering their heart scan for only $49. It's a $495 value, but appointments for this offer will fill up fast, so don't wait. To schedule your Virtual Imaging $49 heart scan, call 770-678-SCAN. That's 770-678-SCAN. Or make an appointment by visiting their website at virtualimagingatl.com. Some minimum requirements may apply. Early detection is your best protection. I know, it saves lives. Don't put it off. Take advantage of this great offer from Virtual Imaging.
The foods we eat can be downright bad for our health. This is Sue from Bread Beckers with Sue's Healthy Minute. I have a degree in food science, and for more than 30 years, I've been teaching the truth about real bread. Not the stuff you buy at the store. I'm talking real bread made with freshly milled flour. When you buy bread from the store, take a look at the ingredients. Enriched flour means that the nutritious bran and germ has been removed to improve the shelf life. Then a few B vitamins and iron are added back to replace the multitude of nutrients lost. That's not enrichment in my book. And today, that label may even read contains bioengineered food ingredients. Food should never be bioengineered. At Bread Beckers in Woodstock, we can teach you how to make real bread loaded with fiber and nutrients. A delicious, healthy, affordable solution that can improve your health and change your life. Visit breadbeckers.com or our Bread Beckers store in Woodstock.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. Your car, running or not, could be picked up as soon as the next day. No title, no problem. Go to carsforkids.org today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
At Kroger, you never compromise. You get high quality and low prices. Like you never compromise your meal with our spring salad mix that's guaranteed fresh. And you never compromise your budget with lower prices on over 1,000 items. Hand it to Kroger shoppers. You never compromise. Kroger. Fresh for everyone.
Right now, save on USDA Choice Boneless New York Strip Steaks. Just $10.99 a pound in the family pack with your digital coupon. Limit 5. Kroger. Fresh for everyone.
Summer's a time to feel and look your best, but I'm not talking about your abs or your tan. Hey guys, it's Mark Aram here. I'm talking about your hair. Restore that bald spot, reverse your receding hairline, or add volume to thinning during Advanced Hair's once-yearly summer savings event. Advanced Hair's simple one-day treatment begins to regrow your own natural hair the very next day, and they guarantee your new hair will grow. There's absolutely no one in hair restoration I trust more than Advanced Hair. Take advantage of your flexible summer calendar and get the most hair for your dollar. Advanced Hair's summer sales event on for a limited time, so get the details and schedule your free consultation today. 470-660-HAIR. One-day treatment, life-changing results. With Advanced Hair, your new hair is guaranteed to grow. Check out the incredible before and afters and take advantage of their best offer ever. That's 470-660-HAIR or advancedhair.com. 470-660-HAIR or advancedhair.com.
Your non-stop news source. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Hello there, welcome. It is Eric Erickson here across the United States. The phone number is 877-973-7425. This just in, this is the governor of Florida who's just been doing a press conference and was asked about Elon Musk.
Don, the problem is when you do another party, especially if you're running on some of the issues that he talks about, you know, that would end up, if he funds Senate candidates and House candidates in competitive races, that would likely end up meaning the Democrats would win all the competitive Senate and House races. And so, look, I'm a Republican. You know, I don't want to see that happen. I think if you want to, you know, get involved and hold accountable, you know, we do have a problem in the Republican Party with these D.C. congressmen. They always run saying there's out of control spending and they're going to spend less, and they never do it. And so there's a gap between the campaign rhetoric and then the performance. Elon was doing Doge, and a lot of Congress didn't want anything to do with actually adopting the Doge cuts, just like they haven't wanted to adopt the Trump executive orders on immigration and all these other things, which I think you have to adopt in law if you want them to have staying power. So I think there is a lot of frustration with the gap between the rhetoric in their district and the performance once they get into D.C. But the way you do that is expose that in a primary and show that there's another way forward. Honestly, if you're concerned about the debt, I wouldn't even worry about that, because I don't think just electing a few better people is going to change the trajectory. We need the incentives in Washington are going to lead to these outcomes, really regardless of the outcome of elections at this point. So you need to do a balanced budget amendment to the U.S. Constitution, and you can do that through the states. You can do it through Article 5. We've got 28 states that have approved this. There's another 4 or 5 that are on the docket. Once you hit 34, then you write an amendment, and then the states are able to ratify that. You need 3/4. If Elon wanted to weigh in on that and work on those state legislatures, I mean, he would have a monumental impact.
He would. Do that. It's a good idea from Ron DeSantis. I got to tell you about Vision Computers, y'all, because they are my kid's company for his gaming PC. We have real live family experience with Vision. And they're great people, and they build great computers. And if you mention my name, call them at 404-COMPUTE, mention my name, they're going to give you a better discount even than what they're already going to do. And they're going to build you a great machine that's your machine. It's not the one-size-fits-all machine. It's your machine designed for your needs and your wants, and it'll be upgradable. My kid's going to be able to keep his computer around for a while, and over time he can upgrade the GPU. They'll work with him on that, and he gets their world-class customer service where if he's ever got a question, 15 seconds or less, he calls them, they pick up the phone. It's a great company, and you can get their tech support for your company. If you can't afford an in-house IT guy, but you need your employees to be good at their jobs, not their computers, you call Vision, sign up $199 a year per computer. Go to visioncomputers.com or 404-COMPUTE. Tell them I sent you. You'll even get a discount on that. 404-COMPUTE, visioncomputers.com. They work with people in all 50 states.
Hey, it's Scott Slade for FGA Roofing. If your home's exterior could use an updated look, or maybe one of your neighbor's designer roofs has caught your eye, and your current roof has started to show its age, then now's the perfect time to check out FGA Roofing for the latest in architectural shingles, timberland shingles, and more. Slate, tile, wood shake, cedar roofs, FGA has them all. FGA Roofing offers 0% financing for 12 months with your good credit. Get the roof you want now and pay over time. Click firstgaroof.com. That's firstgaroof.com.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It's 2:30. I'm Veronica Waters. WSB's top local story: a mistrial today for Stop Cop City protester Ayla King, one of about 24 people indicted in Fulton County by Attorney General Chris Carr for actions against Atlanta's Public Safety Training Center. The Court of Appeals cited the fact that the Fulton County jury was chosen behind closed doors without media present. The judge plans to restart the trial at a later date. Early voting's underway now for a runoff election that could impact your utility bills. 2 candidates running as Democrats for District 3 of the Public Service Commission face off in a primary runoff after neither secured the necessary majority vote needed in last month's primary. Peter Hubbard and Keisha Waits are both vying for the seat. This week there will be rolling lane closures, both south and northbound on Georgia 400. It's between Abernathy Road and Georgia 141, and due to work on the upcoming Express Lanes project. These lane closures will be in place now through Saturday, according to the Georgia DOT, from 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. Residents in Austell get the chance to weigh in today on plans for a hefty property tax hike. Mayor Ollie Clemens says the city's been running at a deficit for years, and that's why officials are proposing what amounts to a 158% property tax increase. It's now 2:31. Live team coverage of traffic and weather straight ahead.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back?
back. If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code LIKE to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code LIKE for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code LIKE for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Those wire shelves in your closet are just a ticking time bomb waiting to explode. Dave Baker for Artisan Custom Closets. At Artisan, we see it all the time. The wire shelves come crashing down. Clothes, shoes, bags are everywhere. It's a disaster zone. Save yourself before this happens to you. With a custom, spacious closet from Artisan, you'll never have to look at that clutter again. Your shoes, bags, clothes, accessories, all neatly organized and designed to stay that way. ArtisanCustomClosets.com.
Men, are you having problems performing in the bedroom? Do pills like Viagra and Cialis leave you feeling frustrated? Well, now there's new hope for men who suffer from PE and ED problems. Meet Dr. Katz, a specialist in men's health.
Hey guys, I'm Dr. Katz with Choice Men's Health. Regardless of your age or medical condition, Choice Men's Health can safely restore your sexual potency. Our customized solutions can eliminate your problem in just one visit. There's no pain, no surgery, and it's affordable.
Guys, don't let the anxiety over your performance get you down. We can get you back in the game. Call Choice Men's Health today to find out how you can eliminate ED on the very first visit. Call 404-400-1170. That's 404-400-1170. That's 404-400-1170.
It's 2:34. Live team coverage of traffic and weather begins right now. Alex Williams is in the WSB 24-hour traffic center.
Slow on I-85 northbound out of Doraville up into Norcross due to a crash in the HOT lane. 85 northbound before Indian Trail Road, exit 101. The southbound crash, 85 south before Indian Trail, has cleared. You're still slow leaving Highway 316, but that should start to improve. And trouble down by the airport. It's a crash in the right lane of the 285 westbound inner loop ramp, the ramp to I-85 exit 61. That is slow in the ride back toward I-75 as you come over through the airport tunnels. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
This is WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Partly cloudy and hot through this afternoon. High 94, lows tonight in the mid-70s. Tomorrow, an isolated pop-up shower possible, otherwise partly cloudy, high 93. A few pop-up showers and thunderstorms on Wednesday, high 92.
Right now it's 93 degrees in Midtown Atlanta at 2:35 on 95.5 WSB.
Greetings, welcome. It is Eric Erickson here across the United States. The phone number 877-973-7425. If you want to be on the program, I need to I give one shout out. Don't normally do that. Howard Edward Butt. Howard Edward Butt. The slogan, "Here everything's better." That is HEB or HEB. It is the grocery store in Texas. Y'all know I live in Georgia. We don't have it here. I love me some Publix. I have to tell you guys, HEB is a remarkable grocery store in Texas, and it has done incredible work just rallying resources to take care of people in Texas. I can't begin to describe for you the level of 24/7 care and support from HEB to the people of Texas. And it is a privately held company. It's not publicly traded. And the people in Texas love its grocery stores. It has a cult following, much like Southwest does in Texas. Whataburger as well has stepped up. My son and I we're big fans of Whataburger. But y'all, HEB in Texas is a grocery store the rest of us in the nation don't have. And this company operates as a blessing to the people of Texas, and I am a national news outlet. I've got several affiliates in Texas, and I just got to say to the people of Texas, watching Texans take care of Texans is remarkable, and what this grocery store chain in Texas has stood up to do since the rain started coming down has just been a marvel to behold. If you go to heb.com, heb.com, they have a donation button at the top of the website, heb.com. They have a donation. The thing that HEB does is it uses its employees as volunteers for its giving fund, and every single penny you give goes to support the victims of the Texas flood. Every penny you give. If you run it through HEB's nonprofit, 100% of the money given goes. HEB uses its own staff and employees to help operate it, so all the money you give goes to help the victims. HEB.com. H is in Henry, E is in Eric, B is in Beverly.com. I don't know the HEB.com, folks. Hebe. When I go to Texas, I like to go to them because they're neat grocery stores. You know, I like to cook. They've got just incredible stuff in the grocery stores. They're well done. They're not like no offense to Kroger, but they're not a bajillion item store. They're much more like a Publix, where they don't have as much stuff, but the stores are just wonderfully laid out with lots of unique items. They small businesses. I'm a big fan, and I'm not even in Texas, as you can tell. But in particular, their nonprofit that they run, when the rain started falling and it was obviously going to be bad, they sprang into action in the middle of the night, waking employees up who they knew would want to help, and they got on the road and headed to areas they knew would be devastated, and they were there when the sun came up to provide meals and food and take care of people. Just remarkable people. So heb.com, the top of that website, there's a donation button if you want to donate, and I recommend, like I normally would recommend, like the Salvation Army or Samaritan's Purse or actually the North American Mission Board of the Southern Baptists do remarkable work, but in Texas, it's HEB. That's where you want to donate money to make sure it is all spent on the right areas, heb.com. Now, I want to go to the phones. I want to go to Jay, who's been waiting patiently. Welcome to the show. Jay, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Great. What's going on?
Okay, I just want to say, I know this is your show, but I want to disagree with you to an extent.
Please do.
Okay, great. All right, so I get what your premise is that just because something has never worked out before, the most logical reasoning would be that it's probably not going to work out again, so let's just try and do what we've been doing. But at the same time, with inventors or people like Mr. Elon Musk, they're used to trying something over and over again, like the airplane. I don't know how many times the Wright brothers had to experiment with it, but with probably so many other inventions before they came into perfect fruition, they probably failed like 100 or 200 plus times. And so my thing is, we have a problem with people who think it's okay for us to run a balance or whatever of $36 trillion plus and to keep adding to it. And I'm very happy that President Trump is president right now, but he's not a perfect person. He didn't get himself elected by himself. God got him elected. And God used people like Mr. Elon Musk to get people like me out to the polls, you know? And so there are a lot of things that happened that brought us to having President Trump as president. And right now, for whatever reason, a lot of people who are Republicans are going against the things that they promised us, including President Trump, which was that they want to be more responsible with spending. And I like a lot of things in the big, beautiful bill that I know of, but I don't like the things that add to the deficit and, you know, all the things that I don't know about that are probably going to be bad for us in the future. So my thing is that we have these people, the Democrats and the Republicans, and they make promises and they're just making the country worse in some ways. And so I don't understand what the problem is if we all get together and work together like the people who caused us to celebrate July 4th a few days ago. They didn't like how they weren't being represented, even though they were paying taxes. And we don't like how we're not being represented, even though we're paying taxes. So I think that if we all get together, instead of just poo-pooing, oh, it'll never work because it's never worked out. Well, Donald Trump had never been president before he was president. You know what I'm saying? And
Yep.
the last time that he ran for president, some people believe that he was cheated and he won. Other people believe that he didn't win, but then he came back and the Republicans came back and they did what they kept saying, oh, we have a mandate for the American people, but they let us down. So I think that instead of poo-pooing Mr. Elon Musk or questioning his motives or maybe even being afraid that if we go along with our brother, our American brother, because even though he wasn't born here, he is our American brother, Mr. Elon Musk. If we go along with our American brother, Mr. Elon Musk, in trying to make the country better, we're going against our American brother, Mr. Donald Trump, and I don't think that that's a logical thing. I think that we should take the good that we all want as Green Party people, libertarians, Republicans, Democrats, whatever, and we should come together instead of just saying, oh, you know, wringing our hands and saying we can't do anything because these few people don't have enough support. So maybe if we supported the Thomas Massey's, which is something that you said, or if we supported, you know, whomever else was initially a holdout on the big, beautiful bill, maybe they would have had more confidence to say, no, we've got to work harder on this, you know, to do something that's more in line with what we ran on for the American people. So I love all of you guys because you're all my American brothers and sisters, but I just think that we need to be like our forefathers and our foremothers who, like my people, the blacks. I don't know what they envisioned or what God put in their heart, but maybe when they were picking cotton on a field and getting beaten, they didn't imagine, oh, we'll be able to run candidates in the future. You know what I mean? As president of this country right now, where
listen,
we're not even counted citizens.
I
just say we should have, you know, vision.
Jay, listen, you were very well said. Thank you very much. And I want to share with you an anecdote from something you said on the Wright brothers. I want to read for you a quote. This is from the New York Times, October 18th, 1903. The flying machine which will really fly might be evolved by the combined and continuous efforts of mathematicians and mechanics in from 1 million to 10 million years if done right. The Wright brothers took off 9 weeks later from Kitty Hawk, not 1 million years later. And by the way, you should also note in 1909, in July of 1909, even after the Wright brothers had successfully flown repeatedly and by that time built a plane that could take off, not from railroad track or anything like that, but from actual wheels, the Washington Post wrote, there will never be such a thing as commercial aerial freighters. Freight will continue to drag its slow weight across the patient earth by sea or rail. So, yeah, we absolutely can get these things wrong. I will just say that when it comes to politics, Elon Musk is a smart guy. You're right. And he invents and iterates and iterates and iterates and builds and builds and builds. But politics doesn't work like that. What you can do, though, is you know what has worked. Back in the early 2000s, there was a man named Jim DeMint, still around, a great man, runs the conservative, the Conservative Action Project in D.C.? No. Oh, what is it? The conservative group in D.C. And Jim DeMint is a great guy, was the senator from South Carolina, and Jim DeMint got so frustrated by Washington, D.C., he was lied to by George W. Bush on Medicare Part D expansion, and he decided to do something about it. And Jim DeMint formed the Senate Conservatives Fund and started finding candidates to run for the U.S. Senate from the right. And everyone told Jim DeMint he was insane and it would not work. And there were a series of candidates who spectacularly flamed out. Some of them he had supported, many of them he didn't and were blamed on him. But in the process, he got elected. Rand Paul and Ted Cruz and Mike Lee and Marco Rubio and Josh Hawley and a number of others. The Senate Conservative Fund was remarkable at getting a lot of conservatives elected. Really remarkable. And what happened over time? Donald Trump got elected. The Republican Party sold out its base. The party base got mad at the leadership and decided to burn it down with Donald Trump. And now a lot of those guys who were fiscal conservative, small government people who were committed to rolling back the size and scope of Washington just voted for the one big beautiful bill that grows Washington bankrupts the country and picks the winners and losers. Rand Paul was about the only one who held firm on that. I understand Elon Musk's frustration. But to get a nationwide party with ballot access in this country, with both parties against you, is a very heavy lift. And if he wants to try it, that's fine. But what is the mission? And therein lies the problem for Elon Musk. What's his mission? Does Elon Musk want a small government? He wants good fiscal stewardship? Okay. Well, what if those fiscal stewards who want smaller government decide that tax credits and subsidies for EVs would be bad policy then? That's one of the issues he was upset about in the One Big Beautiful Bill, is they got rid of the subsidies that benefited him. And what if this America party is seen as just a grift for Elon Musk's vanity, that it supports small government unless it comes to the EV industry or rocket ships, and it wants big government subsidy that blow the caps off the budget? He's going to have to think about those things, and I don't know that he has. Or he could take the Jim DeMint path that was tried and true for a number of years, and that is go find small government conservatives and run them for office in the Republican Party. And unlike Jim DeMint, go out and find Democrats to run for office who are sane and reasonable and understand we got a fiscal problem that you got to deal with. You've already got ballot access for the Democrats and Republicans. Go find candidates and prop them up in primaries. Jim DeMint had an incredible success record with the Senate Conservatives Fund for a number of years. Go find those people who can run for office. Go support the Chip Roys and the Thomas Masseys, both of whom Donald Trump has said he wants to oppose. Massey more so than Roy. Go support the Ron DeSantises of the world, who Elon Musk chose not to support. Go support candidates who actually are committed to his vision, who are in the existing parties, as opposed to a vanity project of building up a new party for which you can't even run for office, that will be identified with the vanity of one man as opposed to the ideas of the people who come after it. And the problem with building up a new party, as Ross Perot found out, is that when that party is built in your image and you go away, that party collapses. And if it is built in your image, you are the identified person of the party, which means that other people have a hard time standing out on their own. And that just is not the way to do politics. If Elon Musk came to me tomorrow and wanted to tell me how to build a rocket ship, I would sit down and listen to him. If he wanted to tell me how to run politics, I would tell him, shut up, listen to me instead, because that's something I know about that he doesn't know about, and his track record thus far in politics has not been good. And I'm afraid he's going to get grifted. Now listen, if Elon Musk, for free, wanted to sit down with me tomorrow and say, give me advice, I'd give him advice. I give advice to Democrats and Republicans both. I'm a conservative Republican, but I can be a straight shooter with anybody and tell them what they need to hear, not what they want to hear. And give him the advice. I would be happy to sit down with Elon Musk and talk to him about this. And if he really is committed to building a party, what he needs to do to build the party so that it's not his party, it's actually a new third party that is not built in his image, but is built in the image of people who can sustain it when he's long gone. I'm just not sure he's interested in that. Now, let me tell you about Old Glory Bank. They are my bank. They are headquartered in Oklahoma. They are a bank of conservatives. They are by conservatives. They were started because of the debanking trends in the country, and they've now become the fastest growing bank in the country. With over $220 million in deposits now. It's a phenomenal, remarkable story. They've been great for small businesses. They are an FDIC-insured bank. So you put your money in, and they're just a real bank. They're an online bank, but they figured out how to even do deposits of cash to Old Glory Bank. They're great people. OldGloryBank.com. You go to OldGloryBank.com today. You sign up with Old Glory Bank. If you're a veteran, go to OldGloryBank.com/salute, and you can get their premium checking account without a fee. It's an interest-bearing account. For everybody else, you go to OldGloryBank.com/Eric. Sign up with Old Glory Bank today. OldGloryBank.com/Eric. It really is my bank. It can be your bank as well. I got the cheap. I don't have the premium account. I got the cheapy, no-fee checking account and savings account. I may be an advertiser, but I still have to pay for stuff. I didn't need the premium account. You go to OldGloryBank.com/Eric today. Sign up with Old Glory Bank. Get your checking, your savings. They do mortgages. They do car loans. They do CDs. They have interest-bearing accounts as well. Everything you need at a bank, they've got, and they're great for business as well. OldGloryBank.com/Eric. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. Terms and conditions apply.
You're at the intersection of politics, news, culture, and current events. It's the Erick Erickson Show.
252 Coolray Carrier WSB 24-hour traffic center. Long-standing crash still in the HOT lane coming between Norcross and Duluth, 85 northbound before Indian Trail Road, exit 101. You're stacked up leaving 285. Down by the airport, they're clearing up the crash, picking up the cones from the right lane on the 285 west rent to I-85 exit 61. That'll help improve those rides coming over through the airport tunnels. Traffic brought to you by Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield. Learn more about their support of common threads and nutrition education at anthem.com/dream. Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield is the trade name of Blue Cross Blue Shield Healthcare Plan of Georgia, Inc. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
If it's happening on the streets of Atlanta.
After suspect refuses to exit home on Summer Chase Drive.
If it's happening on the roads leading to Atlanta.
Looks to be a tanker truck crashed into the median on the Jam-Cam.
95.5 WSB has you covered.
The major culprits are squeezing household budgets for auto insurance, gasoline, and utilities.
Your 24/7 news source. Tune in throughout the day to stay up to date.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's breaking news station.
If you're thinking about selling your home this summer, now is the time. With the guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate, you can sell your home hassle-free and make the most money. Hi, this is Mark Spain. The guaranteed offer for Mark Spain Real Estate's the easiest way to sell your home. Skip the hassle of costly repairs and sell your home stress-free. There's no showings, no open houses, and no waiting or wondering when your home's going to sell. Our guaranteed offer keeps you in control. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home today. That's markspain.com and start packing.
No one in Georgia treats more kids with cancer and blood disorders, and no one in the Southeast is doing more to advance pediatric cancer research. The Aflac Cancer and Blood Disorder Center of Children's Healthcare of Atlanta cares for thousands of patients each year and offers access to hundreds of clinical trials to kids whose survival depends on new treatment. Listen July 24th and 25th to the 25th annual 95.5 WSB Carathon and support research to find cures. Visit choa.org/carathon to make a donation today.
Hi, I'm Brian, your friend and jeweler here at Shane Company. Come on in, feel at home, and let's find your dream engagement ring. I'm proud to work for a company that puts customers first and lets them shop the way they want to. See, we believe shopping for an engagement ring should be fun, without any of the pressure. We don't work on commission, so finding your dream ring is truly on your terms. We'll be right by your side as your friend and jeweler to help you find a ring more beautiful than you imagined and stick to your budget too. We have all of the styles and all of the smiles. You can even watch our in-house jewelers working their magic inside your neighborhood store. It's that kind of care and craftsmanship that makes Shane Company's free lifetime warranty the best in the business, saving you thousands over time and giving you peace of mind. No appointment necessary, or check us out at shaneco.com. Because a friend knows when you're ready, you're ready. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
WSB Atlanta, WSB BFM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's news and talk.
Investing in the stock market certainly has its ups and downs. Perhaps it's time to redeploy some of your investment assets. One asset class you may not be aware of is mass tort legal cases. For an example, we're talking about Roundup and mesothelioma, where smart money has been investing in mass torts for a few decades with continued profits. We are Paragon Analytics AI. We use advanced data mining and AI techniques to find valid mass tort legal cases. We're looking for accredited investors to invest as little as $25,000 with a guaranteed fixed return to our investors. Call 888-WITH-PARAGON today to find out more. There's no cost, no obligation. If you can invest $25,000 or more, join the smart money and get with Paragon at 888-WITH-PARAGON. That's 888-WITH-PARAGON. Again, 888-948-4727.
Investment involves risk. Consult with your financial professional before investing.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's news and talk.
Complicated and making it simple. It's the Eric Erickson Show.
Welcome. It is Eric Erickson here across the country. Glad to have you with me. So I gotta end here where I began the show today at noon. A man is dead in McAllen, Texas. He ambushed Homeland Security agents, ICE agents who were there. It appears that a group of people caused a disturbance at an ICE facility, And when Homeland Security agents arrived to see what was happening, someone with a gun was laying in wait for them in an ambush to try to kill them. That person instead died. Now, there is a growing sentiment within the progressive community that violence needs to happen against Trump. In fact, Andrew Sullender at Axios has this headline: Democrats told to, quote unquote, get shot for their anti-Trump resistance. For months, Democratic lawmakers have fumed. The base's demands to fight harder misunderstand the lack of legislative and investigative power afforded the minority in Congress. We've got people who are desperately wanting us to do something no matter what we say. They want more, says Representative Brad Schneider of Illinois, chair of the center-left New Democratic Coalition. Liberal voters have angrily accosted Democrats at town halls for, in their view, not doing enough to counter Trump. In response, some Democrats have tried to up the ante, heckling Trump, mounting rogue impeachment attempts, getting tackled by law enforcement, even indicted in their efforts to scrutinize the president's deportation campaign. Democrat told Axios, people online have sent me crazy blankety blank, told me to storm the White House and stuff like that. Though they added that there's always people on the internet saying crazy stuff. What's so interesting is who are the biggest bellyachers? White Democrats who live a comfortable existence. Here's the quote: what I've seen is a demand that we get ourselves arrested intentionally and allow ourselves to be victims of violence, a lot of times coming from economically very secure white people. Well done, Democrats. Well done.
Well, Tuesday on Atlanta's Morning News, overnight new info from the flood disaster zone in Texas. Triple team traffic gets you to work on time. And Clark Howard's got a specific tip on lowering your prescription drug costs. I'm Chris Chandler. We start at 5 on WSB.
WSB consumer expert Clark Howard.
It's summertime. What does that mean I want you to do? Okay, I harangue you every summer and every year after Thanksgiving to use your vacation. It's stunning how many Americans are lucky enough to have paid vacation where they work and you don't take the time off. Let me tell you something. You're a better employee for your employer if you take that time off to refresh, to enjoy yourself, and really disconnect. You don't want to get a text or an email from the boss who says, hey, I need this, that, or the other, while you're trying to decompress on vacation. Truly disconnect when you take that time off, again, so you'll be a better employee when you come back from vacation. I'm Clark Howard.
News, weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
It's 3 o'clock. I'm Veronica Waters. The news this hour brought to you by Coosa Valley Credit Union. WSB's top local story: the city of Atlanta is closing the homeless encampment on Old Wheat Street, where a man was fatally struck inside his tent by a public works truck earlier this year. Catherine Vassell is CEO of Partners for Home, a homelessness nonprofit.
We are making offers of housing offers to all 14 individuals.
City officials say they have 500 beds available.